And we're live. Got a panel of beautiful ladies for y'all tonight. What's going on? Welcome to Purple Pod episode 59, number one show in the world for dating, started right here in Dallas, Texas. Make sure to like the video on y'all's way in. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you can be prepared whenever we have shows coming up. Also, check us out on Instagram. Right now, I have these beautiful ladies tagged right now on the Instagram if you want to go follow them. Why does it say 00 at the top? But, oh no, we're not live. Go click go live again. I was like so confused.
Now
Oh
we're
wait.
live.
Oh, we are live. What the fuck, guys? Sorry. StreamYard just fucking glitched on us. But yeah, we're now live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube all at the same time. Please go sign up for my coaching link down below. I also have our new package that we're offering. It's a mentorship that I just started. It is for men and women. If you're looking to get into network coaching or anything like that, please hit that link down below for a free consultation, and you can set up a call and talk to one of my sales guys. But yeah, please, if you want to support, you can go check out the Patreon. You can show support that way, or you can show some support by becoming a YouTube member and clicking the member button right now down below. When you click that join button, you'll get some really cool emojis for the show, for the live one. Make sure to go and check us out on the merch store, and then also check us out on all the audio platforms right now. We're on all the different ones. Just don't listen at your work, please. Yeah, but please add the Instagram right now so you can go add these beautiful ladies. I'm really excited about this show. We got somebody that came back. We got two new people. We got somebody that's really fucking smart. You have your master's, right?
Yeah, I'm working on my second one.
On her second one, yeah. So this is gonna be a really good show, guys. Like we got some really good debates planned for y'all. Tonight, the whole theme of the show, guys, is gonna be how to tell when you really love your man. But to start off, ladies, we always start with just give us your name, your age, your education level. What do you do for work? Your relationship status. We'll start with you right here next to me.
Okay.
Talk a little closer, Mike.
So my name is Kyasia. What was all of the questions?
Name, age, education level. Age and education level.
I'm 25. My education level is an associate's in biology.
Talk a little bit more into the mic.
Currently working on my bachelor's. And
where do you work?
I currently work as a dispatcher at a HVAC company. So
that's badass, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're actually really good for that job? Like, I have a friend who owns an HVAC company, and he said women are like some of the best people for doing some of the in-office work because they like make everybody really happy.
Right.
Like, do you feel like that's true?
I definitely agree.
Man, that's crazy. That's like a little cheat code for anybody that's running a construction company or anything like HVAC. Like, have women working in the office, and it makes everybody more happy. What about you? What's your name, age, education level? What do you do for work? And what's your relationship status, real quick? You didn't say that.
I am single.
Oh, you're single? Oh, hey, you gotta put this on. That's not on correctly.
It's not?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
But yeah, you can.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's your name? And thank you for coming back. What's your name, age, education level, what do you do for work, and your relationship status?
My name is Lauren. I'm 30. I'm getting my associates in kinesiology. I'm a licensed massage therapist, and I am in a relationship.
Okay. And over here on the end, what's your name, age, education level, what do you do for work?
My name is Natisha. I am 28. I am a behavioral therapist, and my education level, I'm working on my second master's.
That's what's up. What about your relationship status?
I am single.
You're single? Okay. Is for your job, or is it like a government job, or do you just have like for the school system or anything like that?
I currently work for a clinic that's attached to a hospital.
Okay. No, that's dope. Okay, well, we'll get straight to it, ladies. How to tell when you really love your man. We're just going to ask that very simple question, just straight off the start. How can you tell or when you are really in love with a guy? Like, how do you know when this is the guy, Like, how do you know? Tell me.
Oh, let's start with Lauren.
No, you go first. Go on.
Well, personally, I would definitely have to say when you are wholeheartedly just into it, you know that without them, there's nothing else that can be done. You want to pray for them. You want to be able to build with them. You want to create with them. You want to have that, I guess that mindset of both of you guys together is going to be something in the end. And then just going from there. But definitely knowing that I love them they are a part of me. Like, I cannot do anything without them. And if I do, I want to get their opinion, if I should do this, if I should do that. But just knowing that as long as we're together, or as long as we're building together, that something is going to create from that.
Mhm.
So definitely, building is most importantly what I know that I love them.
Yeah, but two into one though. Like you really
Yeah.
believe like y'all are one unit when you kind of
Hmm.
come together. So
Absolutely.
are you the type of girlfriend though that like when y'all go out, like if you go out on a girls' night, like you would like your man to come with you? Like if you go on like a trip, like you want your man to always come with you? Or are you the type where like you like your space too? Like you want to be able to like go have your own vacations and like go and have your own girls' nights out and stuff like that? Or do you like having your man? Are you like that even in those things too?
I definitely think you have to have a balance. You have to have your own personal life outside of that, as well as being able to integrate your spouse with that. So yes, some trips are going to be, "Oh yeah, babe, come on with me," and then other ones are going to be, "Yeah, this is a girls' day. We ain't doing this together."
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. What
Hmm.
about you? How do you know when you're really in love with a guy? What's the thing? Like, can you explain the feeling?
I would agree with a lot of what she said. In my personal experience, especially with my relationship right now, I feel like when he does certain things that normally, if it was anybody else, like I would have ran already. And
Because it's creepy or why?
it's just annoying.
It's just annoying. Yeah, like
but
low key annoying shit.
but we all have our pet peeves. But I feel like when you really truly love someone,
You'll put up with that
those
bullshit.
pet peeves, it's like you hate them in the moment, but the minute they're not around you, you're like, well, I miss it now.
You
Like
like
I
you
really
like
want
the
to.
annoying shit.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like I
definitely.
almost want to be annoyed.
That's weird.
A little bit guilty moment.
I
at the
definitely
end.
believe that you got to keep a woman on her toes and keep her emotionally on her toes, and that's a way to do it. I guess is making you always that way. I don't know.
Well, so like for an
That's a
example,
game.
and he'll probably kill me. My boyfriend's gonna kill me for this. But sometimes when he burps, he says Mordecai through it. I don't know why. It's weird.
That's very
But
different.
it's very annoying. It's annoying. He knows I think it's annoying. But like he's a truck driver, and right now he's on the road, and I'm not gonna lie, I miss it. It usually makes my teeth hurt when he does it in front of me. But then when he's gone, I'm like, oh, I miss that now.
So people are so weird, bro. Like the shit that like we actually like, whatever, like when they're gone, you never know.
Yeah.
What about you? How do you really know when you love the guy?
When I want to move as one unit, like if I do something good, I want you to be right there behind me. I want to see you do good too. Things of that nature.
Things of that nature. Okay. Well, so I gotta ask, would y'all say that love is something that is describable or is it indescribable? Is this something that like you can put a name on it? Like I know the Greeks used like three different words for it and stuff, and like there was love for your family. There's a type of love for your family, a type of love for like lover, like the person that you love, and then there's like a type of love for the people, and like I like that. I like that they did that because they distinguished the differences of type of love. But when it comes to love for like another person, I really sometimes think it's like an animal instinct in us. Like dopamine is just like oxytocin. These things are just chemicals in our brain, and if we put it down to science, we can see that it's very easy to manipulate these type of things. Like one of my favorite studies is they actually looked up what they wanted to figure out what turned men and women on. So they hooked up these like electrodes to our private parts and to our brain and then they put images in front of them to see what would turn them on, like all types of images, like fucking animals fucking, like all types of weird shit to just normal shit too, like fucking a banana sitting on a fucking table or something.
I
like
feel like I
like
heard about this.
yeah, they it was a really cool study. And when they did it, what they found was the guys were very like kind of normal actually, like whatever you would think turned them on kind of turned them on, and like that's what
Okay.
made their electrodes
It
go
was
off.
more like body parts, right?
Yeah,
I
well
think I read
the
about
women
this.
one was really weird though because they got turned on by the monkeys fucking, like the banana on the table.
What?
Wait,
They got turned
Bro.
on by a lot of the really weird shit, and it's just like, so I want to know, like, do y'all think that like what turns you, or like what makes y'all fall in love with the guy? Do you really think like you have control over that, or do you think it's more of like an animal instinct? Like, what do you think?
Hmm. I would honestly say it's like in between. Like, I feel like with society itself, we can decide what we like and how we like it. However, if you watch so much of something, so let's say that we watch a lot of reality TV, the things that they do are going to turn us on.
Mhm.
Or if we like that, or we put ourselves in that situation, oh, okay, well, he does this, then my man got to do this too.
Mhm.
However, our animal instinct or our human instinct is just like,
It's pretty strong
I like
sometimes.
that, like, because there are certain things, especially like when he says Mordecai when he sneezes, which is definitely different. But there are definitely things like for people that I have been in relationships with, I'm just like, I would hate this for anyone else. But with you, it's a completely different story. So I guess it kind of just
You
depends on the
special.
situation. You special. But I definitely think it's a different perspective depending on the person you're dealing with, and if you're willing to um
Compromise on some things, kind of.
yeah.
I always like to say compromise instead of settle. Like settle is
Yeah.
such a horrible
It
word,
really
bro.
is.
And like if we can just remove that word from our dictionary, just the dating world, I think everybody would be a lot happier because more people need to compromise and not settle. You know, like
compromise and comprehend.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it either. Like compromising is just you coming to terms with where your ego is actually at or where your like self is really at in real life. Whereas settling is like always saying that you're above the other person in my eyes. And so I really love the word compromising more. What about you though? What would you say is like do you think it's the animal instinct that makes you love or do you think you have more control over that? What do you think?
I would honestly say it can be both sometimes, depending on like how you're raised. But at the same time, I think a lot of it does come down to your more animal instincts because you can be raised in a very specific household and you can be told that this specific type of person is attractive based on your family's morals and beliefs. But a lot of people, it's been shown that some people that are raised in those environments are actually attracted to the polar opposite.
Yeah,
And
that is true. Yeah.
it's been shown like with men, they're more simplistic and like you said, what turns them on. Like normally if you just say you want to sleep with me, you don't even have to be vulgar. You know, their peen will just bing.
Yeah.
You know, but for us, like you'll see women that, you know, if you show them a video of a man completely dressed, but he's mopping the floor, she will lose her mind.
Absolutely.
If you see a man in an apron and he's cooking, he can have no shirt on or whatever, but it's not the fact that him not having a shirt on is helpful, but it's the fact that he's cooking that we're like, oh yeah.
Dude, I don't believe
Men
that
in
shit, man.
uniform.
But
So like, there's like
also-
a huge theory against that because they call it chore play, like that women get
That's a
like
thing.
that like women get like turned on by stuff like that. But there's a lot of men that push back against it. I honestly agree against it too because like that's negotiating desire. Because
like I
like,
said, it's-
well, like I'll give you an example. So like, say like I'm in a relationship with my girl or my wife or something like that, and she's not wanting to give me sex or something, or like does not wanting to show affection for some reason. She's like, go mow the lawn and I'll do it. You know, or like, or take out the trash, you know, and I'll do it. That is negotiating desire, and that's the problem. You should never have to negotiate genuine desire.
Well, no, I'm not saying negotiate.
Yeah. But like you might just be turned on by because women are turned by on some weird shit.
Yeah.
Dr. David Buss made a book, and it's like it says like 200 and something things women are attracted to, and guys it was like way less than that. Like women are attracted to all types of fucking crazy things,
Well,
bro.
biologically, it's been proven that women are more sensitive to a man's scent, like his natural scent, than it is for a man to be attracted to a woman's natural scent. He's attracted biologically to her feminine scent, like her downstairs
Oh
scent.
yeah,
But not
I totally
necessarily
believe that
her.
shit too.
Us, on the other hand,
I like hate when people disagree with stuff like
Yeah,
that.
us
I was
on
like,
the
I
other
know you
hand-
like my musk. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it's true. It's true. I'm sure everyone here has been in a relationship. We've all stolen our man's hoodie,
Oh, absolutely.
and we don't steal
And
the
the
clean
cologne.
one. We steal the one that he
I never
either
thought
worked
about
out
that's
in,
why though.
or
It's
he
because
used
of
all
the
day.
smell. I've never thought about
Absolutely.
that.
Like
I cannot agree.
I thought it was just
I'm not
because you
stealing your
wanted to
dirty
wear the
clothes.
bigger.
I'm
I
not
thought it was
doing
just because you wanted to wear the bigger thing.
No,
Like,
so biologically speaking,
It's the smell.
it's the
a
smell
thing.
because
So-
you're there. Technically, you're there with us. It might not be
Chat,
physically,
I didn't know
but
this.
you're there.
This is
Like,
crazy.
Absolutely.
I'm
Like,
giving them all my hoodies from now on.
Yeah,
I used to never let them take it, but now I am.
No, ask your girlfriend. Ask your
Bro,
girlfriend.
you
And
know
don't-
how many times I fucked up, guys? Like, how many girls I was like, give me my fucking hoodie back? Like, and I like was really, dude, oh my God. Y'all just made me realize I fucked up a lot of things with that.
Look, and don't
Oh,
put your
man.
favorite cologne on there that your girl loves, because I promise you, you're not getting it back.
No.
You're
Oh
not.
my
So
God.
like military
I
wise,
can
when
agree.
men deploy, they'll get like the girl will normally ask for like a little bear or something of theirs that has their scent on it, whether it's their favorite, like she said,
Mhm.
cologne, or like I said, like for me, I'm shameless. I told every time my man goes on the road, I tell him, I want the shirt that you wore to the gym. I'm so shameless with that. And obviously not the one that he's completely sweated through, but that one I will wear. And obviously I'll wash it. But, you know, for that first
There's
day,
a little bit
it's
in
just
it.
to have that feeling of him there. His scent is there.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, like pheromone-wise, you
Oh,
would
yes.
think a lot of men are more into pheromones, but it's actually
It's
the
women.
opposite. And it's been proven biologically that we're more in tune with pheromones than you are.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
no,
So for all of you men out there that refuse to give us your hoodies,
Gonna give 'em up.
STD, bro, you're so right. Like, I need to get extra. I didn't even think about this, bro. I used to legitimately get mad about, because what would happen was it was a hoodie I really liked, or it was a jacket I really liked, and it's like, give me
That's the
it
one we
back.
want.
I want this one back. No, seriously,
That's the one we want.
bro. I can't believe how much I fucked up
The
on
one
this.
that
about
you
it.
wear all the time, the
Yeah.
one that we always see you in.
That's the one.
Literally, that's the one we want.
because it reminds us the most of you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Ramar, I'm
Your smell,
holding
you
my L
being
on this
there.
one, bro. Like, big time. I really didn't.
And like you said about love, like that's another way to know you're really in love with someone. Because I have a cousin who used to say, like, and she still does it. She smells her man's armpits. I used to think that was the weirdest thing in the world.
Still
But
Oh, fuck them kids.
but you know, there was something behind it, and it is the smell of your person, it is the taste of your person, it is the touch of your person, and it's that specific person. You don't want it from anybody else. You want it only from that person.
That makes sense. I mean, y'all are making me realize it's definitely a very animalistic thing. So what do you think? Do you think that love is a very, like, animalistic thing that you can't really control, or do you think that you have full control over it? Like, you have full control over what makes you fall in love?
Well, to go with what she said, I do think it has to play with a lot of human nature, but I personally think it's what you grew up around, and what you're taught. Like, it has a lot to do with, like, with your morals, your religion, what you're taught, how you treat a woman. That's what gets me. Like, how are you gonna treat me? You know, what is your respect for your mother, your grandma? That all plays a big part for me.
Would you say that women today deserve all this respect you're talking about?
Oh God, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Well, like, where I'm gonna say, you know, traditional. Like, would you say women today are traditional?
You have a lot of different women. It depends on what woman you're talking about. I think all women should be given the same respect in the beginning, unless she proves otherwise that she doesn't deserve it.
Ooh, that's a good point to kind of bring up. Do you think that, like, respect is earned or given?
It's definitely something that is earned.
It's earned.
I do think it's definitely earned.
And this is gonna sound messed up, but I go back to Ephesians for this a lot. But there's all relationships are based on a cycle of love and respect, and it's based off of responsibility. So in Ephesians, they like to talk about how, you know, the woman is to respect her husband and he is to love his wife, or the kids are to respect their parents and the parents are to love the kids. They even say it for the church, and they say the same cycle for slaves as well. You know, like the slaves are to respect the owners, and the owners will love the slave. You know, and I like that cycle that's based off responsibility. It's really broken today because a lot of the responsibility is actually on the women now, but it's not the natural cycle for men and women. It's not what we're used to for thousands of years. So that's what throws us off really bad, is that respect. And honestly, I don't think that the guy needs to give a woman respect immediately up front. I think it's an earned thing. I think that, like, you will get respect.
Some certain
Yeah. There's a baseline. There's just like how there's a baseline respect between you and any other random person on the street.
Right.
You don't just walk up and slap somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, there is a baseline respect. But as far as getting traditional values or traditional things, I think that a woman gets that when she proves herself as traditional. Just like how a guy will get traditional things from a woman whenever he proves himself as a traditional man.
I don't feel like
you shouldn't
have to
give
be
traditional things to a shitty guy.
I don't feel like you should. I don't think tradition plays a part on the amount of respect you get, though.
I'm just using it as a label of showing, like, what is good, I guess. You know, like, I would say traditional values are good values. So because of that, like, it's just a way of labeling that, you know? That's all I'm saying. It's just an easy way to put it. I really want, because y'all all kind of brought up something, the nature versus nurture debate. This is one of my favorite things to kind of bring up in this space, because that's what all of the arguments in this online space are basically arguing over. The people on the far right in the red pill space argue nature. This is my DNA. The statistics show 60% of men do this. 80% of men or women do this. They like to look at what the statistics show, what DNA, the majority of the population is, and then women, feminism specifically, or the far left, really likes to bring up a nurture. We can change the world. Women could be men, men can be women, a woman can be the main earner too, like basically, we create our environment so we can make what we want of it. Kind of like what you're saying. Like if I want to fall, if you were raised in a household where where your parents told you to only love white men, you would only love white men because you were raised to only love white men. Like that's what you were drilled into your head your whole life. The nurture debate. That their environment makes you who you are. But really, when we look at studies, and like there's been things done on stuff like this, it really comes down to 60% genetics, usually 30% peer group, and 10% your parents. And like I need to find the exact study for this because I always reference it, but it's one of my favorite ones to go back to because it's really the peer group that makes us who we are. And then also intelligence has a huge deal with this sliding graph. The less intelligent you are, the more you're falling towards nature, your DNA, your monkey instincts, your 99% chimpanzee DNA is what you're falling to whenever you're sleeping around or whenever you're doing these things that are very hedonistic and stuff like that. You're falling more towards that, which is the majority of people. Most people aren't smart. But say you get a man and a woman both with 150 IQs, yeah, they could completely live in the nurture side of things and say, well, my wife is going to make more money and she's okay with that because she's intelligent enough to put her genetics aside and what her natural body turns her on and stuff like that. I would just say it takes extremely intelligent people for that to happen. I think that 9 times out of 10. And the scary thing is we look at intelligent men cuss more, are more dirty, and they're more likely to cheat. That's the study showed, like the higher a guy's IQ is, the more likely is to want more sexual access. So it's like, shit, does that work? Like, can we even have a woman with 150 IQ and a guy with 150 IQ and they can put their nature fully aside? I don't think it's possible. I think that we can do like 10%. Like we put it to the side a little bit, the smarter we get. But to fully put it aside and make it to where men or women, are completely the opposite of what our DNA has kind of made us into for 300,000 years, 1.1 million years. We look at Homo erectus. It's hard to fight against that many years of evolution. What do y'all think about the nature versus nurture debate, though? Like, do y'all think that you control yourself more, or do you think that your environment controls yourself more?
I'm always going to be probably right there in the middle for everything. However,
there's a lot of nuance. Yeah.
However, growing up, it was definitely, your surroundings control who you are and what you are. After growing up and being being an educator and then going from there, your parents, after about what 6 years old is when you go to 4 or 5 you go to
school, pre-K.
School. Your parents see you maybe 8 hours of the day out of a 24-hour period,
maybe less.
Maybe less,
especially today with iPads.
That part,
and both parents working more to have what our parents had 20 years ago. They have to work 50 hours to have what our parents had last.
That part, because when I grew up, there was no iPads, there was no phones. You went outside until the streetlights came on.
Yep.
However, I definitely believe your surroundings are a portion of who you are, what molds you into the person that you grow up to be. But it also depends on the generation that you're in, because nowadays you have kids or teenagers, or what is it, Generation Y, X, Z, somebody got a Z. They in the alphabet.
yeah, I think it's Gen Z's under us. Yeah, all the Gen Z's are under us. Yeah.
But
you're Gen Z. She's Gen Z.
Am I?
You are.
I thought I was
you are.
Part of the
You're not millennial, baby.
No.
It's okay.
It's
okay. But it literally depicts on what generation you come from, because the generation now they're solely based off of technology.
They're way more nurture based because it's easier to brainwash somebody from a phone, right?
From a phone, yeah. And with us, we believed in social interaction. We believed in having face-to-face conversations and having those in-depth things that molded us into who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can barely get my niece and nephew to come and talk to me in my face. They'd be like, "No, Titi, let's do this." No, I don't want to. I want you to talk to me in my face.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe it depends on the generation that you're in, but I think your surroundings do have a portion of molding who you are. Especially if your parents or your spiritual background, your religious background don't have a big majority into you.
Yeah.
But for me per se, definitely my surroundings molded me. My parents they worked maybe 18 hours a day. It was me and my siblings.
Yeah.
We knew what we was gonna do. We knew we was gonna be outside till the street lights came on. If you weren't inside, then you were in trouble. If you were, then you was great. You was and whatnot. But I definitely think I learned more going to school, going to, outside things with my friends than what I learned like actually in my actual household itself.
Would you say you had a really good peer group?
Yeah, I would think so. Growing up, I definitely had definitely a mixture of. We had some good, some bad, some in betweens.
Yeah, I definitely feel like you can tell if somebody's gonna become successful in their life based off of their peer group.
Mhm.
Like, like I said, like parents are 10%. It is a big deal, but like you can be raised in the best family ever, like have the best parents ever, and then that kid becomes a drug addict or or some crazy goes to prison or something like it doesn't. Like your parents do not equal you becoming good at all. Like I fucking came from literally probably two of the greatest families possible, and I still came out a shithead. So like like I still got kicked out at 18. So like I definitely believe that it's just not parent, it's peer group, because it was about who I was hanging around with. It was about my friends. Like you could be the best parent ever, but if you don't make sure that they're not around shitheads at 14, 15, 16 doing bad shit, you're like you can't save them.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think? Do you think the nature or the nurture is more, in power in life? Like, what do you think?
So it's been proven psychologically that nature does take its toll, but a lot of that nature part comes from your genetics, from your parents. So the nurture part is, it's kind of like you said, you can come from the best quote unquote household, but when you actually dissect the kind of like education usage of your parents, like how they taught you to be you, right? Everybody's household has a set of rules. So if you have a helicopter parent, they could be the best parent in the sense that they want you in school, they want you studying, they have you reading books, they want your vocabulary perfect, they want your diction perfect, they want your penmanship perfect, they want you to be able to be almost perfect. Helicopter parents have been proven to almost dissuade their children from their values, right?
Make them worse, yeah.
So the nurture
absolutely.
part, they're doing what they're supposed to. But sometimes if it comes on too strongly, you don't have that bond with your child, then it can come off as the opposite. So my dad and I, we have a very close relationship. But me leaving home, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't want to be under my father. Because my father wanted me to do things that at the time, mentally, I just was not prepared to do. He wanted me to go to college. I didn't want to go to college.
No.
And my mother and I at the time, we didn't have the best relationship. So a lot of what I could have learned from her, I learned more from the streets. So when you have, that kind of a dichotomy with your parents that are polar opposites in that manner, the nurture part played a big factor because the nurture part led to my more nature coming out, my more animalistic, if you will, features coming out, where you start to pack with people that quote unquote understand you more.
Mm-hmm.
And those people can then kind of utilize your pain and your weaknesses, and they can get you into doing things that you normally wouldn't do based on your nurture.
Yeah.
So like when I was younger, I used to smoke a lot of weed. But it's because, when we were growing up, it was the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
They had commercials of the one girl who was deflated like
the flat girl in the
Yeah.
fucking chair.
That
shit was so
all
funny.
these crazy. Nowadays, obviously, they would never put a commercial out like that because it's been proven that marijuana is not as bad as people make it seem.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up in that time era, like she said, you played outside until the streetlights came on, and you better have been inside the house when those streetlights came on.
Yeah.
As you get older, you do kind of like hit your puberty phase, which is your quote unquote rebellion phase. But if you have that close connection with your parents, which is the nurture, I've seen people that they have parents that I would have pulled my hair out already. But they have such a close relationship with their parents that for them, that works for them.
Yeah.
And so their nurture helped, catapult them into their success.
Yeah.
Some of us had to kind of resort to our nature to help us get to where we're at. And now I look at my dad every day. There was a day I called my dad crying because I apologized to him because I realized how much he tried to instill in me that I just fought so hard against. And it was legit values that right now, as a 30-year-old, I hold very close to me.
Yeah. It's crazy how much it flips as time goes on, doesn't it? What about you? Like, what do you think about nature versus nurture? Do you think that one of them empowers more than the other? How is it for you personally?
I personally think it has a lot to do about how you were raised from both parents. So you can have one parent that's raised off survival, which takes the nature spot.
Hmm.
And love and morals, it's not as big as it is when you're just
Trying to
living to
survive.
survive.
Yeah, that's true.
So I believe it has a lot to do with
If you're in that survival instinct or not.
Yes.
No, that is true. Like that. That's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it's actually probably one of the biggest issues and everything is whenever there's two people stuck in that survival instinct, trying to just survive, but trying to make a relationship work at the same time, and that's how we have a lot of the issues that we have today. Next question I want to ask them: what's y'all's favorite feature in a man? Because we are trying to figure out what makes you really love a guy. I would argue sometimes it is a physical feature, or I mean, we could say even a mental feature too. So, what's your favorite feature in a guy?
Mentality.
Oh yeah, we'll start on the side. What do you think? Mentality?
For
It's about
sure.
what they think. Are you a
Yes.
sapiosexual?
Are you a strong-minded man?
Okay.
If you don't have anything left to your name today, can you go make something out of it tomorrow?
Okay, that's a good. Yeah, well, if you lost
you have
it all,
nothing but your name, can you?
If you lost it all, can you get right back?
Right.
Yeah. What do you think?
Intellect for sure.
Intellect.
I need somebody that can have a conversation with me about social events happening, social issues, civil issues, business plans, family plans. I need to be able to actually have a conversation with you.
Oh, thinking towards the future though too, yeah.
Yeah, just in general, I need to be able to sit down and have an actual in-depth conversation with you.
Can you
without
actually
it being
communicate?
Exactly. Can you hold a conversation? Because a lot of people can't hold a conversation without using supplemental words.
That's so sad. That's sad that there's a lot of men today that have trouble with this very basic thing that you're bringing up right now. It's fucking, and I believe you. I totally know it's true. That's the worst part about it. It's like, God damn, I know that there's guys out here that are stupid.
Putting your feelings into words, can you?
I think a lot of people are really basic. Like something that y'all need to kind of understand is when we look at like the bell curve for intelligence, there's a lot women make up there's few women at the top and few women at the bottom. Like there's not a lot of there's few women that are homeless. But if you look at the bell curve for men, it's way different. Like we're extreme. We're either really extremely doing really good, like rich, or there's way more homeless. Like we're really bad. So when you look at intelligence, there's a lot of women in the middle that are just normal, just good normal women, and there's some really shitty dumbass dudes, and there's some really smart guys, and I would say a lot of the guys in the middle end up in relationships and being normal kind of, and I feel like the single guys that get stuck single, the ones that you're talking about that are bad at communicating and stuff like that, they're kind of just stupid, But at the end of the day, another thing though to bring up is sometimes being stupid gets more sex for you as a guy. The lower your intelligence, the more likely you are to get women. So it's it's actually a bad thing. Like those guys that are 140 IQ, but then they come up to you and they just can't have a normal conversation because they're so smart. They think about all the dumb shit. So it's actually a negative to be really smart for some guys. It just depends. It's because you don't know how to say it. I argue with a lot of guys in this space. Because some of them, the guys who came up with a lot of these stats and wrote a lot of books and this stuff, and they do shows for this type of shit, they're just fucking dorks, man. They're really bad. They sound very nerdy when they say all the stuff. They don't know how to say it to women without it coming off really just
robotic.
Yeah, robotic's the best way to put it. Absolutely robotic. And it's to put some sauce behind it, put some riz behind it, you could actually get women talking like this if you said it right. But most guys don't say it right. And it's just crazy how, I don't know, I've been having these epiphanies all the time lately, realizing how many guys are shitty. It's I meet so many of them, and it's just I'm coaching them right now. It's just oh my God, guys. How this is basic shit I knew when I was 10. What the fuck? It's crazy though. But there's a lot of guys who just don't experience what they need to today. I grew up in a hair salon, most of my life, so I was around women all the time. There's most guys just didn't have that. Back to the question. I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about, guys. My bad. Oh yeah, what's your favorite features? So yeah, wait, who's it on now? You?
Me.
Wait, you? Yeah, go.
It would definitely, I agree with both of them, but it would definitely be emotional intelligence. For you being able to convey how you feel and what you feel, but also being able to differentiate what it is that you want out of a relationship, what do you want out of a spouse, out of a person. But, just being able to have that alone time with yourself and being able to differentiate, hey, this is how I feel, this is how I'm going to go about it, and then this is how I'm going to convey it to my partner.
What do you define as emotional intelligence?
Oh, men and women is different. For a woman, being able to know what your emotions are in regards to the situation or what you are going about, but also being able to take on your emotions as well as others and being able to manipulate them in the sense that doesn't harm you, but it helps perfect who you are. Even though being perfect is not really a thing.
Hmm.
But for men, it's
Being able to ride the wave.
being able to ride the way, because we're women are definitely vulnerable. We take on what other people are doing, and we try to be superwoman.
Yeah.
And some of us can, some of us can't, and some of us are just lie in that curve. They'd be like, all right, I can do this, I can do that. But for men, it's you knowing how your emotions are, who you are as a person, and knowing that you still matter even when society doesn't say that you do. So, being able to convey that same emotion that women are allowed to do it in public, and what you kind of just, push back to the side because society says you're not allowed to do that. But telling me, hey, I feel this way, and so forth, and not being chastised for having that emotion.
Yeah. So a lot of what you say kind of like boils down to like you want a guy to be able to express his emotions correctly. Like
Mhm.
I what I say emotional intelligence is just being able to handle your emotions,
Mhm.
because it's just that simple. It's just like an emotional intelligent guy is a guy that he just handles his emotions. Like he's not going to throw something or act crazy or hit you or anything,
You know.
because he handles his emotions, and it's just that simple. But I would just say that when it comes to emotional intelligence, most guys that don't have that today, it's because they're extremely emasculated and in really hard positions where they can't and their women are emasculating them also. They're not respecting them. Like
Mhm.
all these things are the things that cause a guy to not have the emotional intelligence that he needs to have. And we don't have fathers telling us to be stoic. See, and like I bring up stoic sometimes in the show, and some women hate that. They hate that a guy wants to put down his emotions, but it's not putting down. It's
Mhm.
not putting down at all. It's what we're meant to do, because an emotional man is dangerous. You want to know why there's school shooters and stuff like that? It is because they sit there. A guy is emotional. He goes to a counselor. They give him pills, and then that makes them crazy. That's not something that we need as men. We need to actually, when we're emotional, and we emote differently than women. 85. I think over the last the study shows like over the last 4 or 5 years, 85% of graduates for psychology were women. A lot of this stuff that's getting updated and that's being made for the curriculums and stuff, it's made very well for women, because women like to talk about their issues. When my girlfriend gets off work and she's upset about something, she wants to talk to me about it really bad, really bad. She wants me to ask about it too. And like I don't give a shit though. If it was me, I'm not ever gonna want to talk about my issues. I'm gonna hit up my homeboys that can problem solve with me if it's a money thing or if it's like something that I need to solve. I'm gonna hit up whoever can solve my issue to help me solve it. But 9 times out of 10, if it's an emotions thing, I don't need to be taking that out on my girl. I like to shout to Jay Waller for this. He likes to say that a man should be a rock, like the rock on the side of the ocean, a stoic rock on the side of the oceans, and a woman's emotional wave should be able to crash over him. Like I should be able to just take the blunt of all the damage of everything and it never crack me. And a strong man should always be that way. I would actually say it's a huge red flag if a guy cracks over the pressure of almost anything, because it's usually not a big deal. It's usually a skin knee. Like don't get me wrong, if your mother dies, if your father dies, if something crazy happens, absolutely he needs to be emotional. He needs to let it out. But I would say most issues a man has today, it's a skin knee. It's not that big of a deal, and he needs to learn to not cry about it.
So, would you classify that as what society has told men to be? Because me being a psych major,
Mhm.
or having that background in that, I definitely think statistics prove otherwise, because there are more women who hold in more emotions than the people that you say that they are. Because there are a lot of men who I've had as clients who come and express themselves wholeheartedly, and those are the ones that I will be worried about. Oh, okay, we got some school shootings coming on. We about to do this or and so forth. Because in all honesty, just in being opinionated, society has depicted for men to, not even society, households have deemed to where men should not have emotions, where they should be stoic. I have no problem with a man being stoic if you're able to have that emotional intelligence and you know how to manage your emotions. However, I feel like you still need an outlet. But for society as a whole, a man has become a stepping stone for a woman to be able to step on, because they don't use their emotions, or they don't know how to effectively express them. And that's not a thing. Like, we're all human. Yes, we have genetically, you have females, you have women. Females are definitely more vulnerable. However, as generations go, they become a little bit more mannish. I'm not gonna, women don't
like, I
quote
get
me on
it.
that.
Yeah.
But women, they become a little bit more mannish because they have that independency that we've grown to entice over the years.
Yeah.
However, for men, they're still seen as, because you are a man, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. And I guess because in my household, we have a conversation corner in our house. Literally, it's 4 chairs, a little ottoman, and a rug. If there's something going on in the family, we sit down and you express exactly how you feel, no judgment. You say exactly what you want to say, regardless of how it makes that other person feel, and then that person has the right to respond. But every household is not the same.
Yeah.
But for, like, I've been to my friends' households where the men in that family, they don't cry. They don't do that. They cry behind closed doors. They cry in the shower, or they start to they start to mutilate themselves because they don't have that outlet. And a lot of men do not have that outlet.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a society-based thing, because yes, men are supposed to be deemed as, oh, I'm going to be stoic, I got to be the man of the house. You can still be the man of the house and still have that emotion that you convey to either your spouse, your siblings, your mother, etc. Whoever you decide to be your outlet.
I'll give you an example though. So, like, I just believe guys have to earn it, and I'm saying this as a guy that is extremely. I have a cluster B disorder. I have borderline personality disorder. I went to therapy for a year, so like I say this all as a guy that is extremely emotional. I'm one of those guys that, like, I talk about a lot, and it's a very dangerous thing for a guy to be emotional. So I'm mostly saying, like, I would agree with you that the guys with cluster B disorders, they do need to go and get therapy. They do need to go and talk about things, because they usually have something deeper than most of the average guys, and they need to they sometimes you do need to talk about it, you need to get it out. But guys emote differently than women. So, like, y'all really like talk about it. Sometimes for us it's physical. Like, for me personally, I played paintball. That was a very painful, fun sport, but I fucking loved it, and I did lots of tournaments, and that's what I did. But so some guys work out. A lot of guys today, some of the best things that they can do if they're depressed is just go hit the gym, go do a leg workout. Now, me personally, I'm not a gym guy. That's just not who I am. Like, as you can see. And but so I like, but I like, I like to play competition. I like to play sports, something like that. That's my way of getting out. But I would say that most guys need to learn to emote correctly. And I would say it was a dangerous thing that I had a mother, that I had family that told me to talk and told me to, like, be emotional, because that kind of what made me into this emotional guy. I really hate that, like, my parents kind of encouraged me to be a crybaby when I was little. And, like, I really just hate that, because now this is how, and don't get me wrong, I earned it now. Like, my girl, I can cry for my girl and it's not going to ruin anything in our relationship because I earned it. I got to a certain level of status as a guy that she would be stupid to fucking leave me if I just cried over something. Okay. And she knows the trauma and the shit that I've gone through. So she also has an understanding of it, but it's an earned thing. If a guy is crying over not being able to make the rent, if he's crying over, something like something that's like a skin knee, like something that isn't that big of a deal, that's just the issue. That's all I'm saying. Just those ones are the issues.
I would disagree with that, because, like, my boyfriend, his last relationship, he was very undermined by his ex in this emotionally.
Yeah.
She did not allow him to be expressive, and that lack of expression came out as anger. So they fought a lot. And when we got together, he told me he's amazed that we haven't gotten into an argument yet, and we're going on 5 months right now.
I would say it's earned. Like I said, so, like, with that girl before, she didn't think that he earned it. But whether she saw him as under her, whether she just saw him as just like that's what it really was. She was in a relationship with him, and she probably saw him as under her, so he never earned it. Whereas, like, you see him as above you. Like, even if you make more than money than him, or even if you're doing better than him in certain categories of life, do you not see him as a leader of your household? Absolutely. Do you not see him as the man? And that's why you can do that. He's that guy. Like I said, so, like, you have to earn that ability to cry, in my opinion. And some women, but I'm not saying that she's a good woman for that. She was a piece of shit, because like, I bet, like, a guy, like, he should have been able to earn it from her. She probably had an ego making herself seem like she was way bigger than she really was, and that's why she wouldn't allow him to cry.
Well, so like I'm not one to speak on people I don't know, but just speaking in a general aspect, a lot of women nowadays will do that to men because they do not have the emotional expression skills. And a lot of what it turns into is women in the process of becoming more independent and men suppressing more, women have become more vocal. And so if the man's not expressing himself appropriately, then the woman is going to essentially emotionally
Like
derail
outburst,
him.
kind of.
Absolutely. And if the man is only encouraged to express anger, that comes out that is when a man emotionally is dangerous, is when he's angry.
I hope
And
no
have to
woman's
stop you
encouraging
right-
just
I have to
anger.
stop you right there. It doesn't matter what a man is doing that gives him the right to cry over something. I mean, yes, if you're the provider, you're protecting, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, even if it's something small. If it's something small and it's something not worth crying about, I can see how a woman can derail from that. Now, if it's something serious,
Talk a little closer.
if it's something serious or to the extent to where they feel like they need to cry about it, then okay. But just because of something you're doing or you're providing doesn't give you the right to just.
Well,
Yeah,
what do you equate as giving the right to be upset about? Because if a man is a provider and that is what he's supposed to do, if he knows that he just lost his job and he cannot pay the rent now, but he promised you a lifestyle, he's going to be very
Right.
emotionally destroyed by that.
I do agree with that. I do.
So it comes down to can like when my boyfriend and I first started talking, when I tell you we were on the phone, the very first conversation we ever had to be about 4 hours long. Now, for some people, that sounds crazy, but it was because we sat down and, like she said, when you are emotionally intelligent, you're able to express yourself on your needs, your wants, your deal breakers, your absolutes, and your compromises. But if you're not able to show sadness, if you're not able to show, you should be able to show anger. Because I'm
vulnerability.
not saying that,
You're kind of saying vulnerability. He was able to be vulnerable with you on the phone
and
call.
when you tell a man like him he cannot be emotional because he is then deemed dangerous, that's actually dangerous. Because what emotion is he then allowed to show, and at what are the requirements of that man to be allowed to be emotional? You can't tell anybody.
It's just about teaching. We got to have this conversation with men about what makes you get over your like. We don't do studies on this. We don't talk about it. Like me talking about like how men emote differently and going to the gym might be better depression. Going and playing sports and doing something physical might be better. There's no studies proving this stuff. This is just me telling you from my personal experience and from a lot of other coaches online that teach men. I mean, we know that you release endorphins whenever you do leg workouts that make you that can get rid of depression. Like that's one of the few studies that I've heard of that actually helps men, that shows doing something physical that helps men in a different way.
But it's also been proven that you get dopamine and serotonin hits when you pet a dog. So I mean, like,
well, definitely get a pet. No, I would always say get a pet.
Hey, that's why they say dogs is a man's best friend.
Yeah, you should always get pets.
They make great therapy
Therapy
animals. Because it does release dopamine. But let me ask you a question. Absolutely, pigs too. Like it's amazing what kind of
pigs too.
It's very weird, but people like it.
But I say that to say in the aspect of what we're talking about. So should a man not pet a dog? Should he go to the gym and hit legs? Does that make him less of a man if he's like, screw it, I'm gonna go home and pet my dog?
Here, I'll give you a good example though, or like let me pull a layer back a little bit on this. So the thing is, you might be that woman, you want a guy to be vulnerable with you, and you would never think anything of it, right? You wouldn't break up with a guy for crying, right?
No.
You might be the same.
I'm not gonna break up with you for crying.
Okay, so you might not be also, and you might not be also, okay? But I would say that y'all are all honestly exceptions to the rule. And if I gave advice to men, if I gave advice to a general public of men, because I'm on the internet, I do a podcast. This is advice for the general public of guys. Most guys out here, I need to give them the advice of not crying in front of their girl, because most women are going to judge them for it. Now, y'all might all be the exception to the rule, and y'all might be the type of women that y'all would never think of a guy like that. But when I'm giving advice to men, or like especially dating advice, stuff like that, if you know how many of these, like just like your boyfriend's ex did him like that, that's a lot of women out here. That's most of them. And because of that, sadly, I got to give them this fucking advice. I can't sit there and tell them that they're going to find an exception to the rule, because it's hard to find an exception to the rule.
But here's the problem. You know this from the first time I came on here. I'm divorced. And my ex-husband and I you know, we had our great times, but my ex was also very emotionally, mentally, and physically abusive towards me. And a lot of it came down to when something would happen, he did not know how to express himself properly because he was raised, especially as a Southern black man in the military, he was raised that you the only
Was
one.
he raised by a mother?
Yes.
Okay.
And a lot of the people he was around were women.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you gotta say fucking at the same time, you know, he was not taught. His mother enabled him.
Yeah.
You know, enabled the ideology. Like when his mother found out that he had put his hands on me for the first time, it was like, well, that's why my son needs to be near me. And it's like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, that's why.
Teach your son that if he's angry,
that's some backwards shit.
Right. Teach your son that if he's angry, you know what you do? First thing that you tell somebody is, hey, you know what? This conversation is not going the way that I expected it to go. It's getting escalated.
I'm gonna dismiss myself.
Correct. Like,
take our perspective corners.
go, yeah. If that means you take a walk around the block, if that means you go to the gym just to kind of like get
your shit out of you,
right. At the same time, you have to be able to tell men that, and that goes for women too. Women need to be taught from, like I said, all three of us agree with the sense that no, as a woman, you should not emotionally emasculate your man. He should be allowed to express himself.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get you views. What gets you views is women saying, nah, men ain't shit, men ain't this, men ain't that, fuck men, we don't need men. That's the kind of rhetoric that's pushed. But all three of us, I think, would consider ourselves feminists by the actual traditional standard of what an actual feminist is.
Are y'all fifth wave feminists?
Last time I talked to you, it was a fourth wave. There's a fifth wave.
Well, no, like there's a girl that like kind of went viral a couple months ago, and she said fifth wave feminism is like a return back to like real feminism, like real women like wanting to be wives and wanting to be like.
But at the same time,
it's basically a tradcon woman that was trying to say like women are all over this boss babe shit.
We cannot go back to men being the leaders of households if men do not understand what it really means to be a man. And being a man doesn't mean that you make money and you're stoic. It means that you are able to provide a lifestyle that you have promised me, that you allow me to bring my qualities and credentials towards and my qualifications towards that help actually build a household that we're able to support each other. You are still the man of my house. But if you come home and you had a hard day at work, come talk to me.
You're a huge exception to the rule. You got to understand everything that you talk and how you are in your relationship. Man, most women ain't doing that today.
But
most women are not taking care of their guys like that.
Though it's most women today. But you also have society that's depicting how men should treat women, how women should treat men, and what I wouldn't say what they bring to the table, but what can you give me from the table? So like with us, we for the most part we were raised in the millennial household. I was raised to you're going to court each other, you're going to date each other, you're going to talk to each other, you're going to be able to establish that connection with one another and be able to build with one another. And from there, like even in addition to Lauren is your name. Yeah, I'm gonna remember it. Even in addition to that, even being raised in a single parent household, even if it was a man or a woman, it comes to the fact of how are we emotionally intelligent? Are our parents telling us to, express ourselves? Are they telling us to bottle it up and, worry about it later? That's where we get a lot of people who are not ready to be in relationships, or when they get into relationships, they start to project exactly what they didn't get to do when they were younger. And like she was saying, that they had those intentional conversations. No one has intentional dating questions in the beginning. They just go out because marriage has now become a social construct. And it's like, okay, well, this looks pretty, so I want to do it. No, you have to be like, okay, so what are your views onto this? Do you want children? Do you see yourself having this? If I was to lose my job today, are you going to be able to sustain the household? If I was to still have my job and you lose your job, could I sustain the household for however long it takes for you to get another one? Are we going to raise our kids the same? Do we believe in the same thing religiously or spiritually? And going from there, people don't have those conversations anymore. But we were raised in a generation where that was a thing. Like, you ask these questions because if I'm going to marry you and I'm going to lay next to you for the rest of my life, or what I suspect to be the rest of my life, then this is what I want.
Yeah.
And for me, if I can lay next to you, I'm going to love you. I might not like you all the time, but I'm going to understand who you are in every season, because you're going to change in every season. You might not have the same job you had 5 years ago. That's fine. You might not feel the same way. We might have kids and it might change our relationship. And people don't look at it that way anymore. And society has depicted that, because it's like, okay, well, the man should pay all my bills. No, it's 100. Like, it's 100. If I was making what I was making before I got with you, and I was able to pay my bills beforehand, if he was to leave me today, I can still pay my bills today. You shouldn't be able to equate to what I can live for. Now, if you want to add to what I'm doing, by all means, you do that. I love it. If you want to do that, and you give yourself to be a part of that person, by all means, you do that.
Yeah.
But if that's not in your ministry, I'm not going to force it to be in there. But if you want to add to me as I add to you, then that's a complete difference. But the intentionality of dating and the intentionality of being married are not the same in this generation as it was when we were all growing up. Because our parents told us, yeah, you got to do this. You got to be submissive. But people are submissive to the right person, not to just people because you have that title connected to
Just
you.
because you can provide this, and that. It just
Here, talk a little closer.
Yeah, you look
yeah.
short.
Just because let's say I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Got him!
My husband.
Got him!
Oh my God, y'all! They're talking to us in the mic. Just because you're able to provide, let's say I was to be a stay-at-home mom, and you provide everything, you do everything. That doesn't mean I'm just gonna submit to you just because you're doing this, and that. It takes more than that.
Yeah, well, I would argue it's just very hard for a guy to be that guy today. I always say one of the biggest things I say is a woman falls into her role if the man is in his. He does. There's no forcing it. Like I've been in multiple relationships where I was that guy and the girl just acted like that girl because I was that guy. But I've been in relationships too where I was like, can you help me out with this bill or can you do this? And if I wasn't that guy. And so like the thing is like you brought up, it's not about the money and all that stuff. I would say it's a lot about the money. I would say one of the biggest reasons why everything's messed up is because of the money. Today. The dollar's been devalued to the point where you have to work too. And they make way more money off of women being another taxpayer as well. Ever since the 60s, 70s, when everything started blowing up. No, like y'all, like they make way more money off of us being split up. They make way more money off of women joining the workforce. They fuck the kids up even more. Like this is all part of their big grand plan. But I wanted to ask you, so would you I would say I want to ask for a majority of women, not you, a majority of women. Would you say a majority of women can have a boss at work, okay, and still respect their man the same? A majority of women can have a man boss at work and still respect and love their man the same.
Absolutely. It definitely depends on how your man treats you at home. Now, if your man treats you as your boss, let's rephrase that. Let's rewind back. If your boss is an asshole, if your boss is an asshole and it treats you as if he's never been around a man a day in his life, or he's just like, oh, we just paying you and so forth, and your spouse or whatnot treats you the exact same way, we might have to rethink the situation. However, I definitely think that women are able to respect their man, because you have a different relationship that you have with your man than you have with your boss.
Yeah.
And if you know each other well enough, because a lot of people do not. If you know each other well enough, you know what makes someone tick, what doesn't, then you should be able to still be able to cohabitate with one another, still have those conversations, because you're not just talking to talk. We were giving 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means you need to listen more and talk less. But you also need to learn how to comprehend.
Yeah.
So,
well, we just got to understand, like what you just said. You said majority of women. I would heavily disagree with you that the majority of women, like they're falling in love with the money today. They're falling in love with their job today. The man is the back burner. The man is just the side. It's like what we were talking about in the other rooms earlier about how a lot of women are on this traumatic cycle where they devote everything to a man and they can never do it again. They want they want that leverage in every future relationship. And what happens? The reason why is because they're such boss babes. They're making such good money at their job. They have so much respect and power there. They're gonna take that home. They bring that shit home. The guy who's actually the man in their life is usually actually their fucking boss. And like, I'm not saying that she's sleeping with him, but she doesn't respect her man at home like she should because the man in her life is actually her boss.
But it also depends on if the man is making more, right? Because
Yeah,
still,
that's
still
the biggest
to this
issue
day,
today is guys.
but
He's a
still to this
brokey.
day,
Well, women should not be with a guy who makes less than. I know that sounds horrible and controversial, and a lot of
brokey.
people hate it, but women shouldn't do that.
Look, I don't believe in that whatsoever. I wasn't raised that way. Like if my man,
Like you'll be with a guy who makes less than you.
absolutely.
Have you
because
ever
I
heard of
respect them
hypergamy?
long.
Have you ever heard of hypergamy? Do you know what that means?
No.
It means that, like, statistically shows, like, when we've done studies on this, women like to date across and up social hierarchies. A man will date across and down.
Right.
A woman dates across and up. So that means that if it's like all the studies show 52%. So if the guy makes 100K a year, she wants a guy who makes 152K a year more. So you can say right now to me that you've done it, but have you done it? Have you been in a relationship with a guy where you made more than him?
Absolutely.
What happened?
What happened?
You're not with him right now, so I'm saying what happened.
What happened was
You proved my point.
not even that, because I haven't said anything.
But
So
but
therefore,
every time I've asked this question, it's always like this is always the case. She's not with them anymore, and there's a reason why.
the reason wasn't the money though. Because
But
how
I
was raised
guarantee
was
you, the
different.
money could be somewhat linked to it in some way, shape, or form.
Never that. The reason that we don't date to this day is because he put his hands on me. There's a difference.
And the reason why he put his hands on you was because he was emasculated by the system that made him a broke ass man.
Not at all. Because his
1,000%.
His father was also an abuser to his mother, so he
Just
learned
because
that it was a
just
generational
just
trait.
because somebody had a father or a grandfather that was abusive, that does not mean that they are going.
No.
There's been tons of studies done on exactly what you
And
just
there
said.
have, but
And
however,
that does not mean that
But
means
don't
that
you
they're going to
think-
be an
But don't
abuser.
you think
No.
maybe
There's
he
been
could've
tons of
learned-
stuff to disprove exactly
But
what you just
Don't
said.
you think that could have been something that was learned?
Yes, don't get me
what
wrong.
I'm
It
saying.
could
He
definitely
didn't
be
learn
learned, but I'm telling y'all right now, and if you look at even his father, the reason why abuse, the reason why everything that's bad that happens to society always goes back to money, always goes back to poverty, always goes back to issues
doesn't have
that
to be
that
though.
are based off of our economy. It is never fucking because men and women are horrible. There's always a finger to point, and let me tell you, the finger is never at men or women. That's what they fucking want, though. That's what the power bees that want, though. They want you to fucking think men are shitty because they're abusive. They want you to think women are shitty because they sleep around and stuff like that. But no, the fact of the matter is, it's the economy and it's the way the dollar is created, and it's the poverty that caused that. Because if he was a rich, I guarantee you, if that man was a rich man that was able to give his wife whatever she wanted, and he was able to have anything that they needed, there would be no abuse in it, because there's no need for abuse unless there is stress. It always comes from stress.
That is a lie. We're gonna let Lauren talk.
Abuse their power.
It comes from stress, and stress is but stress is a direct tie to money and the economy. Yes,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Like, you got to understand,
Go ahead, Lauren.
capitalism is set up to where there's people at the bottom that are going to stress out. Everything that is wrong in society all comes from poverty. Everything, drug addiction, murder, violence, robbery, everything. Like, if you're living in a fucking completely fucking la la land, if you think that every issue today doesn't all go back to how the dollar is created.
So, okay. You are not wrong, but neither is she. So the two do go hand in hand. Like I said, like we talked about earlier, emotional intelligence has a part to play in that, but so does society. Now, here's the catch to that, because she was about to say it. Just because you make a lot of money and you're rich does not change you from being an asshole.
Yeah, you can still be an asshole, but I'm saying you're having your... Hold on. I need to go back to this really quick. When we have our needs met, those type of things don't happen. So in society, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, for us to have our needs met, it was as simple as going to the river and fishing, women going and picking berries and stuff like that. Whenever society was that simple, there was way less violence. There was especially egalitarian societies like the Indians in America and stuff like that. There wasn't all these issues and stuff like that, and the reason why was because of how simple everything was, and there wasn't poverty. Poverty and most of the issues today.
The structure was
different because in Native American
it
culture,
all goes back to money. It all goes back to money.
In Native American culture and spirituality, because I looked into it, because I actually find their culture.
They didn't have dollars in Native America.
It's not about that though.
It is about that. That is the basis of everything in society.
Let me tell you. So, just speaking on Native American culture, right? They made their women more important than the men. So men were the hunters, women were the gatherers. Go look it up. Do your research.
Look, I'm not
Hold
even
on,
okay. But you're
wait.
being way too nuanced right now. You're
No,
going
no.
off on a whole different tangent that doesn't
No,
even
no.
make sense.
I'm
That's
trying
what we're
to get
talking
to
about.
what you were saying.
But you're being specific about just Native American. I'm talking globally. I'm talking
Yes.
10,000. Okay, 10,000 years ago globally. No, you're talking about just Native Americans. They respected women more spiritually and shit.
No,
I'm saying people.
Example.
Okay, I don't care about that one nuanced example. I'm saying across the globe, 10,000 years ago, fucking no dollars anywhere. Okay. There was way less issues because poverty is one of the biggest problems today. Poverty equals tons of other issues. Tons of other issues, okay?
So, socially speaking,
that's the reason why we have so many issues today is poverty.
But socially doesn't. If we're talking about statistically, you have more crime, more violence, more abuse, more depression.
You're proving my point.
No, because of more money.
You have more. You have
You're
more
proving my
people.
point.
No, you have more people who actually have. You are in the 2%, 1% top 10 who have more crime, more depression, more anything than people who are actually in poverty. So therefore, in regards to your statement or your opinion towards the man that I was with, he abused me because it was a learned trait. His family had money. He made less than me because he was still a college student. So therefore, your statement is null and void.
Well,
I'm telling you, it comes from stress. Hold on. Everything comes from stress is what I'm saying. Abuse, fucking violence, everything that is bad comes from stress, and stress usually comes from poverty. It usually comes from an economic issue for most people. I'm not saying he might have been an exception to the rule where he came from a family of wealth and he learned from a father who also came from wealth and he was also an abusive guy. But I'm telling you, for the most part, abuse, violence, drug addiction, stealing, murder, all those things all usually come from poverty for the majority. I'm not saying that the top 1% can't be depressed. No, hold on. I'm not saying that the top 1% isn't depressed. They don't steal or they don't do horrible things. Obviously, that's true. But is there more people in the 1% or is there more people in poverty?
So
there's way more people in poverty than there are 1%ers.
I can guarantee you. There is people, very wealthy, well-off people out here that are less happy than people who make.
Nobody's arguing against that. Nobody's arguing that point.
I don't believe that stress causes abuse. Stress causes all these bad things to happen. That's stuff that you are taught. The stuff that you grew up around.
So you want to know why that doesn't make sense? I can give you a simple analogy. Okay, there's a story of the twin brothers. Okay. Where one of the twin brothers, like they both had an alcoholic father, okay? One twin brother sees his alcoholic father and says, you know what? I'm never going to touch alcohol. That's horrible. Look what it did to my fucking father. Never going to touch it. The other twin brother says, you know what? That's my father. I must be just like him. I'm going to become an alcoholic too. They both have the same DNA, but they can take different paths. But you can't sit here and say that just because somebody saw somebody that was abusive, that means that they're going to be abusive too.
No, that's not.
Or that it's a higher chance of it because they've done studies on this and it's not true. They've literally done studies on that exact thing. It's not true. You don't have a higher chance of being abusive just because you came from a household that was abusive.
Not true.
That's not true.
You're more likely to molest people if you've been molested, but it's not the same case for abuse.
Actually, it's the other way around.
It has been proven.
If you've been molested more before, you're more likely to molest somebody in your future. There's a higher chance.
Even with women, it has been proven that some women who come from domestically violent and abusive relationships, if they get a man who they can then abuse, they will become the abuser. So it is a learned trait. Now, it is also a trait that can be tied to genetics because, like you mentioned, alcoholism. Alcoholism is a genetic trait. So while it's been proven,
it's been proven.
You can be you have a predisposition for it, but it's all about the epigenetic effect. Okay, so if your environment puts the epigenetic effect into happening, yes, but some environments don't do that.
But
so
those twin brothers, right?
Yes, if that brother, if the one who never touched alcohol, I'll explain epigenetics to you really quick. If the one who never touched, if the one who didn't touch alcohol doesn't do it, if he never touches it, then his DNA doesn't have access to learn about his environment never unlocked the code for it. So he's not going to become the alcoholic like his brother did. So he has the same DNA, but because it wasn't unlocked, because the epigenetics didn't open it up, it didn't happen for him like it did his brother.
So pause. Got it. So, have you ever heard of fetal alcoholism syndrome?
Yes. Yeah.
So, the babies who have parents who were drinking alcohol while they were
That
pregnant,
is an epigenetic effect.
or while
that is
they
an epigenetic effect.
or if they were doing heroin or any type of drug, when they come out of the womb, they're dependent on it.
Yes, that kid is an addict.
Exactly.
Yes. That is
So
an epigenetic effect. Thank you for proving
but
it
it
for
doesn't
me.
matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It's still a learned trait, because you wouldn't have known that unless the baby within the womb was literally learning the trait that the mother was doing within the womb.
And
It's
it's so crazy that you brought up the womb thing, because that is literally where all the studies of epigenetics came from. Was literally from exactly what you brought up. That is literally epigenetics.
But what we're saying,
your DNA your environment unlocks certain things, okay? And that's how genetics works. You can have this genetic, you can have a father who was an alcoholic or an abusive person, but if you don't go down that path, say like that twin brother doesn't go hit his girl, or say that he never touches alcohol, he will never unlock that part of his genetics.
It's an unlearned trait.
It's not that it's an unlearned trait.
It
never got unlocked. It might have been in his DNA, but it was never opened. It was never opened up, so it never happened to him.
The question is,
just because it happened to his father doesn't mean that's going to happen to him. Is what I'm breaking. The whole point of this is breaking down that just because of a father does something doesn't mean that the children are going to do the same thing. That's not true.
No,
they proved
part,
this.
No, that part. What you're saying right there is true. What we're saying is that you are predisposed, pretty much as a carrier. Right? So you can be a carrier of a disease. Like you said, if it's not unlocked, then you will not have that disease, but you still carry that disease.
The environment is able to open it up.
Right.
That's all.
So what we're saying is that for our own personal experiences, and a lot of women who have been in domestic violence, abusive relationships, also know other women who have been abused, right? So we are able to communicate with each other almost as a community, and we learn very quickly, because a lot of us think it's just us. But then when you start and talk to it, these men, a lot of the times, and women too, let me put that out there. Women can be just as if not more abusive to men than men can be towards women.
Oh, I already know that. If we look at studies of lesbians, you are the most abusive.
But I'm not talking about, I can't speak on a gay relationship. I've never been in one. But speaking generally on a heterosexual level, women can be, if not more violent towards men than the other way around. Now, what I'm saying to you is, in these relationships, the man makes more money. The man is in a social standpoint to where that stress of social economic point, that what you're talking about, does not apply to him. What applied to him was the fact that his father was abusive to his mother. His grandfather was probably abusive to his grandmother, because they made so much money, and they are essentially, quote unquote, socially untouchable. They are more abusive than someone who is touchable. You have someone like a Harvey Weinstein, who went a very long time. You have someone like a Bill Cosby. When Bill Cosby came out...
I'm not saying that these don't happen.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. I just want you to listen to me. When you had someone like Bill Cosby come out, right? And what happened, nobody believed that it was true. Everybody was waiting for these girls to recant their statements. And when it found out that it was true, we're all like, Bill Cosby, of all people? You have these people that are gorgeous, that are rich, that don't have to ask for nothing, that get exactly what they want, that are able to get as many women as they want.
We're talking about top one percenters. Like, come on.
That is a top 1%.
I know. That's what I just said. We're talking about 1%ers. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
exactly, they're untouchable.
Listen to my point. Okay, what I'm saying is that what y'all are saying is that these top 1%, like, we'll just throw numbers out there. 1 million people in the world, okay, are abusive, bad people, and even these top people, this 1 million people, even though they're 1%, they could still be abusive and all these bad things. And I'm not disagreeing. I'm not saying you're putting down any of that shit. I agree with you, okay? What I'm saying is that poverty, there's way more people. There's 20, probably, hold on, do not talk. Probably 20% of the people are in poverty today. Probably 20% or more are in poverty. Like, what? I'm gonna talk to you how I feel like. That's how I always fucking do it. You know the fucking game. Fucking 20%. So yeah, exactly. 20% of the people are probably in poverty. All I'm saying is most of the abuse, most of it, guys, is fucking coming from these fucking people in poverty.
Where is your statistic?
That is wrong.
Pause. Where are your statistics?
I don't need to hold on. I don't need to pull in a statistic. It's just a simple fact. Is there more people in poverty, or is there more? Hold on. Stop talking 1 second. I'm talking to her. Hey, stop talking. I'm talking to her. No, that's bias. Is there more 1%ers or is there more 20%ers?
There's actually more people who have more money than people who are in poverty who actually commit crimes of abuse, violence, or sexual anything. So therefore, I'm asking you where your statistics are before you start quoting facts that are only for you.
That's not
No,
true.
will you show me that statistic? If the 1% has
I don't
more,
have my phone on me. You told us we had to put them away.
Yeah,
so
no, you can grab it. You're more
I
than welcome
already
to grab
turned
it.
it off.
You're
You're
more than welcome to.
quoting things that you don't have statistics for. So,
But
if you
yeah,
don't
because
know the
I told
actual
you that
statistics,
I'm just bringing up math at this point. If there's so many people that are in
math is
poverty,
statistics.
and okay, I'm just bringing up math really quick. Okay, if we can look at poverty, would you say that there's more people in poverty or more people that are rich? Just simple question. Which one is there? Hold on, I'm asking her. I'm asking your sister a question. Is there more people in poverty or is there more people that are rich? Just answer that simple question.
There's probably more people in the middle ground than there is in poverty or.
I'm not asking that question. That's
but you asked the question.
No. Hold on. You just made no sense. I literally asked you. Hold on. I'm not talking to your sister once again. I asked you a question between this or this, okay? And then you completely went off and said, "Oh, but there's more in the middle." I'm not asking what's in the middle. I'm asking, is there more people in poverty? Poverty is less than $30K a year right now, or less than $28,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Is there more people in poverty, or is there more people that are rich? It's that simple.
But I can't give you a real question if the middle ground has more than both of those.
I didn't ask you about the middle ground. Just answer the question. Like you're talking like a lawyer right now. Just answer the question.
That's what I went to school for.
I know. Thank you.
Why.
Thank you for proving my point.
I'm just proved my point. I'm gonna shut all this down right now. Just answer the question. Is there more people?
Stop being a lawyer. Answer the question.
Just answer. Is there more people?
You're not in court. We're on a podcast. It's not a big deal. Come on.
Hey,
answer the question.
When statistics are put in front of me, absolutely, I'm going to speak the facts.
It's a very simple question.
That is true.
I'm asking a very simple question.
Because I'm not going to lie. That's not what I am. That's not how I do things.
Here. Then we're going to go off of our own life experience. Based off your own life experience, you know what a rich person looks like and somebody in poverty looks like, or what poverty and rich is.
Just like they're poor and they have more money than we do.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I know that's what puts them in poverty. So because of that, like, how many people would you say there's more rich people or more people in poverty? It's a very simple question.
I'm answering. There's more people in poverty. However, the higher rate for abusers is the people with the more money.
I would love to see the stats on that. Yeah, no, I would love to see the stats.
I would love to see the stats on what you're saying.
I don't have any. I never said I had any. You're the one who said that you had stats on this.
You said statistically. Statistically, that means you know exactly what stats there are.
No, I said by math. I said let's do the math really quick.
Statistics.
No, I said math.
If you put math in there, that's statistics.
Okay, so if you go to college, is statistics a different class than your math classes?
It depends on what your major is, actually.
No,
because if you go in,
statistics has its own class, correct?
It depends on what your major is, because if you're an economics major, statistics is a different thing than what your statistics class in a math major.
I'm just asking, like, is there algebra class and statistics class?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then there's a difference.
They're two different.
Like, that's why I was talking about math. You're talking about statistics.
No, but
that's
I'm not trying to like. I never said that I had a stat for this. I never said that. I said that I believed that there is way more people in poverty than, and this is a fact. Like, I can't believe you're disagreeing with this.
That's where you
because it is a fact.
Because you said it's a fact. You don't have anything that proves
that. I literally don't need a stat to prove that there is more people in poverty than there is people that are rich. I don't need a stat for that. I'm just being honest with you. I don't.
But you're trying to compare that with abuse.
Why does your sister agree with me? This is crazy.
That's true. Everybody agrees with that. We all can look with our own two eyes and see clear as daylight. There's more people in poverty than there is wealthy people. However, you're trying to compare that to something that's completely different.
So then the debate comes down to the abuse thing, and it
has nothing to do with poverty and wealth.
And what I'm saying is, I don't have any way to prove that the poverty people have more abuse. But you directly said that you can prove that the 1% or like the top people are more abusive or they commit more crimes. So I was just saying I would love to see that. You might be right.
You might be right. I never heard her say that. But I did hear you say that. I definitely heard you say that.
Say what?
That the people with more wealth is the ones that commit
less.
More abuse. You said more. You definitely said more. We can rewind it back.
I don't think the people. No, I think less. No, I think the people. I definitely said less. I said the people in poverty commit the most crimes, the most abuse, the most everything.
Saying. That's what you said. Yeah. And I disagree with it.
You think it's the top one or the top people? Okay. Well, I would say this. Look, I'm not disagreeing with you here. Hold on. If you could pull up a stat, if you could pull up a stat and literally prove me wrong, I would literally not care. I would be like, hey, thank you for showing me that. I never knew that.
If you feel so strongly about it right now.
No. I'm not saying
that you've been asking for.
Hold on, ma'am. I would not say I don't care as in like I don't care. I'm saying like I wouldn't sit here and like tell you you're fucking wrong. I was just, no, Like, I don't care, as in, like, you can show it to me and I will change my opinion like that. Like, I'm not emotionally attached to what I'm saying. I will immediately, if you showed me a stat that proved me wrong, I would immediately be like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. And on my next episode, I would probably bring up, did y'all know that the top fucking 1% actually abuse more people than the fucking the lower 20%? You know, I would literally take your side on it. I'm a very emergent man. And what that means is I don't believe in being static. I don't believe in being the same person and just saying the same things all the time. If you prove me wrong, I will gladly change my
But
opinion.
here's the thing, though, Sergio. Like, we all are. The reason why sometimes these debates get as hot as they do is because you have people of different opinions with different emotional attachments to those opinions, and you are one of those people, and that's perfectly okay. So when you tell us to, like, be quiet and not interject, but then you interject, you got to understand that sometimes it's hard for us as people who have been through these things and have personal experience with it, and someone, I don't know, and it's not my place to ask you, but someone who may not have the kind of experiences that we have, it's kind of hard for us to not speak out against what you're saying. Like, my father and my mother and my stepmother and my stepbrother, all NYPD, they will all tell you that the more poverty places in New York, like the Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, all those places that are supposed to be the more drug-related areas, you know where they're actually doing the raids at? They're doing the raids in the more rich areas.
Well, of course,
so the people who are doing petty crimes like selling weed, they may get 6 months to a year. But the people that they're getting it from in Hoboken, up there in Suffolk County,
and whatnot,
exactly,
South
in
Jersey,
Syracuse, up there in upstate New York,
Albany,
they're going to jail for multiple years on federal crimes of drug trafficking.
Yeah.
So what we're trying
I've never disagreed with any of this.
But what we're trying to explain to you is it's not correct to say that more poverty people are capable of abuse when we know the statistics, the actual proven statistics, to be different. You are entitled to your opinion, which is perfectly fine. Every single one of us are perfectly okay with it, but it is hard sometimes when you have her trying to speak her piece and you're not allowing her, or me or her.
Well, it all goes back to, like, one really, really simple thing. You know, like, y'all are trying to, like, basically, like, y'all's whole point is at the top, it's still a lot of bad shit happening. And what my point is that there's more bad shit happening on the bottom. That's it. But if we really, like let's just simplify it down to that, though. That's it.
Higher. There's just more people in poverty, so automatically the levels are going to automatically be higher.
That's all I'm arguing. You just, that's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, and what she's saying is, because you two are right. Obviously, the population is going to be higher, correct? But guess what? Black people make the majority of the population in federal prison.
And the value of a dollar
most people of that ethnic group are there for petty crimes. If you do any other race like white, or actually no, if you just look at people who are white who are in federal prison, they are doing legit time. You're talking, and I'm not talking about murder. I'm talking about like federal, like money crimes. You're doing stuff like that. You're doing big drug trafficking. You're doing sex trafficking at that level. So what we're saying is, you're not necessarily wrong for thinking that way, but we know different from our own education.
So, like, here's the thing. Like, the whole reason why I even brought all of this up is because the biggest part of my show, one of the biggest parts of it, is I'm against the powers that be. Because what did they do? They devalued the dollar. The 1% wants us against each other. They want men and women to hate each other. They want us racists to hate each other. They want white versus black. They want every division that they can have on us, okay? And so when I bring up the poverty thing, it's because that's another part of their power structure. Another way that they control us is through poverty. What is happening right now? The middle class is disappearing. It is absolutely going away. Soon we're going to have nothing.
It's an evil world we live in.
Yeah. We're about to have the elite and we're about to have the broke. And that's it. Okay? Yeah. Average is fucking broke today if we look at stats. So, like, it's very, very scary. We got a very scary world coming up. And all I wanted to just, the biggest point I was trying to nail down is that they're making us more broke. They're making us more into poverty. They're making relationships harder. Okay? Like, we always go back to, like, why is there so much abuse? Why is the relationships all messed up? Why is this? And just my biggest point that I always try to come back to is just, I don't want to point fingers at the women. I don't want the women to point the fingers at the men. That's all I care about. I want us to point the fingers at the people that really fucking caused this shit. Because that's how we get into politics and we change it.
Well, no, going back to what our original topic was before it got heated.
Crazy.
the thing is, so when you push certain rhetorics, just in general,
Yeah.
right? When you push certain rhetorics, it can become a little
Triggering.
skewed.
Triggering.
No, skewed. Because you have, say you have a woman on here who, like I said, is all about women need to make more money. Women need to be the head of the household. Men need to, it's our turn to, you know,
be
go out.
independent.
Right. It's our turn to go out and make the money. It's your turn to be the house husband. It's your turn to raise the kids. I'll pop them out because it's my job to pop them out. But it's your job to take care of them now.
Yeah.
If you have a woman out here that's like that, she is going to touch the ears of women who want to believe that.
Yeah.
If you have women like us, and I say all three of us because even with her, she's very outspoken of her opinions, but all three of us would say, no, we want our man to be a man. But there is certain, you know, things that we believe that society should start teaching our men so that when we have families with these men and we have boys of our own, we're then able to teach those men to be better than their fathers were.
Yeah.
And their fathers were great men. So be an even better man. And then you have other women who arguably, trigger word, warning, are pick-me's. Who will sit there and be like, I will be whatever you want me to be. If you want me to be this, I will be that. You want me to stay home? I will stay home. You want me to make more money? I'll make more money. You want me to do
Not
this?
happening.
Yeah. I like the pick-me's. Let's go. Yeah.
You know what? I despise pick-me's. And
I know you do.
Here's why. Because you are not being you. You are being what he tells you to be. And that is not an actual relationship. That's not a real relationship.
You're fitting the status quo.
Correct. There was a woman on here.
She's following her line. That's a good girl.
No. Oh, God.
Hey, lady in red.
I watched one of your shows where there was a woman who said, I can't think of her name right now, beautiful girl, but she said that she tried to like anime because her man liked anime.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah.
So
Like
I
anime.
understood her because my boyfriend has a friend who was dating a girl who hated video games, hated it, but only wanted to play video games because she felt that was the only way to get close to her guy. But guess what? She still hated it.
Yeah.
So at what point do you become yourself?
Your own person.
Yeah, like when are you, or like where's the line for being too much of a pick me kind, or like going too far, you know?
Yeah.
But I would say 9 times out of 10, like the guys want the pick me girls, like, and the thing is, like, if we go back to the Bible, No, we do 1,000%, 1,000%. That's what we want. I gotta pee really bad. Why don't you read those super chats for me, Bassett, and talk to the girls about it really quick?
I got you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, just click it. Yeah, you can click them and put them up on the screen again.
Super chat.
So from Hombre the House, like the video for $2. Like the video, get some candy for your brain. Shout out to Hector. Another one from Hombre the House. Men have to live accepting they will never get sympathy, and also maintain their frame for attraction. We must show solitude and strength at all times. Yes, facts.
Sorry.
You know, background support.
What's funny? What's funny? Get the comments.
Well, what's funny is a
go
lot
back
of
to
the
the
times,
comments.
like even if you look at the chat, right?
Yeah.
So we could be speaking plain English, like plain English, and you will have somebody who just wants to fight against it, and I mean this for men and women. People just want to argue, and they have nothing to truly argue
about.
No, this goes like way back. This is like the beginning of the
The
show.
beginning.
No, because he's saying men have to live accepting that they will never get sympathy, but you have women on here right now
Who want you
who
to have
said
sympathy.
you want
Sympathy. Like,
we want to be sympathetic towards you. We want you to be vulnerable. We want to give you the things that you feel like we don't actually want to give you, because truthfully we do.
Yeah, and we might not be the only women who are out there. It's definitely far and in between because you don't have many. But we're the women who are telling you, hey, we want you to tell us how you feel. We want you to come home from work and be like, yo, my boss fucking, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, we want you to do that.
Okay.
However,
Okay, so you say you're doing it and all that. How are you actively doing it though? What are you doing in your normal life with your man or with men
She
around
hasn't
you?
really had a chance to speak, so I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah. What are you actively doing to show men that you're sympathetic to their troubles and that you care about what they're going through and all that?
listening to what they bring to my attention, listening to their problems and concerns, giving them solutions, trying to help figure it out with them.
Yeah, this Joker smile, Sergio. God,
Dude, I just can't believe how short she is, bro. Like, guys, chat.
Sergio, don't start with me.
For
Don't
chat,
start with
hold on,
me.
hold on. I think I forgot to put the thumbnail picture on the YouTube video, guys. So I got to show y'all this really quick. Put it on the center camera really quick, Bassett. Stand up really quick for them.
Hey man, they
Come
say
on, stand
women
up,
are
stand,
five
stand up
really
really
quick.
quick. I got to show this. Come on, stand up.
Go ahead, stand
Come on,
up.
stand
He
up.
already did it
Come
to
on.
you.
Oh my god.
I got to show y'all this, guys. This is crazy.
Shout out to Asia. That's her name. Her name is
Hi.
Asia. You know,
Hi,
She didn't
Asia.
even
She's,
take the headset off, guys.
It's
Look.
Kai Asia.
yeah, Kai Asia.
Look, y'all.
Short for Asia, but she's a beautiful black
She's
queen.
5'8",
You know, shout out to her. She's like
Thank
4'8" or
She
something.
4'8".
Or 4'8", yeah, 4'8".
Baby, you is short, but you beautiful. That's all that matters.
Oh, you're
No, there's
gorgeous.
nothing wrong with being short. You know,
Yeah.
you know how many girls that are tall and they don't have as many options on guys because like say you're a girl that's like 5'8". If you want to wear heels, that's gonna put you up to 6'1", 6'2".
What heels are they wearing?
Five
They
inches.
probably-
5 inches. What
there
you
are
mean?
not many girls who can walk in 5 inches.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I
I
was like,
thought
I walk in 6 inches and I'd be like, oh.
I thought
4 inches,
that
like-
was normal. I don't know, but yeah, but you can wear
You a
5-inch heels
stripper?
and you would just be at what 5'1". Like,
Yeah, don't get really many complaints in that department.
yeah, I bet you could easily like. What's the shortest guy you've ever dated?
If she says
Maybe
5'10",
like
fall out.
5, 6, 5,
Nah,
7.
5'7".
Yeah,
5'7".
no, yeah. So like, I bet. Hey, short kings, pull up. Like I'm telling you, man. Like there's a lot of guys that'd be pretty happy because they don't get a lot of opportunities with girls because like even when they wear heels, they're like taller than them. But for you, shit, there ain't no issues.
I say,
Yeah,
she
let's
never
move down
changed
the
when she
panel
wear
with
heels.
that question. Let's move down
Yeah.
the panel.
Yeah, what was the question?
So, in what ways are you showing men that you're sympathetic to their struggles?
Yeah, I
with
said
their-
listening.
Yeah, you've
helping
already
them-
answered. We're moving down.
Just got a silence.
I don't like how he got on
So-
camera. He was talking shit.
Yeah, he's not even at the table.
Right.
Shout out to Bassett. What do you think?
I'm very open with whatever my boyfriend wants to talk about, whether it's business, it's family, it's friends, like whatever he wants to
What
talk
if he
about.
wants you to toss a salad?
Uh-oh.
Excuse me? Excuse
Got
me?
him! Got him!
Oh, you can't be open about that one, huh?
No, actually, so
just
so
Oh, Lord.
you know,
We're about to
not-
learn something right here.
I think that does, as weird as it sounds, it does go a part of it. Now, except the fact that I'm gonna say no. But I want you to be comfortable in every aspect, whether it is emotionally, even sexually. I want you to come to me
Just say it with a little jokey joke at the end.
and tell me
What?
that that's what you want to do and give me the opportunity to say yes or no, right? But
So,
as far as being empathetic, because there are two different things. There's sympathetic and empathetic. And you have to have the emotional intelligence to be both. Because you can be sympathetic without being empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be vice versa without being both.
Mhm.
So if my man comes and tells me that he's struggling with a friendship of his, I need to be able to listen and understand that there is a difference between listening and answering or just listening.
so
because
what's the
some-
benefit of him telling you that he wants that, you know, you to eat a salad, right? So what's the benefit? Because what we're talking about is you understanding his struggles. And
That's a struggle?
yeah, no. I mean, no. It was just an example that he wants you to eat a salad,
Okay.
right? So, what's the benefit of him telling you that he wants you to eat a salad if you're not gonna do it? You might as well keep quiet, just like hombre the outset.
Well,
Right?
no. So again, it's a respect factor. It's a respect factor of saying like, hey, this is something I would like to do. Are you open to it? I would rather him ask me that than go out there and cheat on me and have some chick tossing his
toss the
salad
salad.
and then coming home with a wet butt and acting like ain't nothing happened.
Oh my
So it's
God.
about your satisfaction then.
No,
That's
it's
yeah,
a respect factor. I would
Respect
rather
factor.
you give me if tossing your salad is a deal breaker for you, then at least you gave me the opportunity to tell you that is something I'm not okay
That
with,
is
and then
very
you
true.
can leave me
Or I
and
can leave
find a
you.
woman who's okay with
Is that
Or I can
considered
leave
sodomy?
Yeah, it definitely is
considered sodomy?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely is sodomy
Okay,
because
yeah.
because it's some
He's a
it's
so-
It's
is-
not sodomy,
yeah.
it's penetration.
some booty
Yeah,
action.
that's why I was asking. Is it penetration? Like I don't
No,
know.
that's not.
No, when
It's-
you're
I wrote tongue. Wait.
It
when you're
depends.
eating
Wait,
the
wait,
booty,
is that
you have,
penetration
you
too?
have
It
to
depends
penetrate.
because people have different terms of tossing salad. So which
Yeah,
one are we talking
like,
about?
I
Are we
just-
talking like a tongue swipe?
You know, we
or are
talking about
talking
tongue
like
swipe,
a-
or we
like a
talking about
lizard
you gonna put a
tongue?
dildo on it.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, I guess
Hey,
I took that one
wait,
too far,
You
guys.
just said it.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the next one on that one. What do you think for this? Wait, what was the question again, Bassett?
Yeah, we didn't went off topic.
Yeah, so So, in what way are you showing men that you're sympathetic to their problems?
Definitely having that open form of communication, but knowing that communication also entails comprehension. Because sometimes you can communicate with a person but not comprehend what they're actually saying.
Yeah, you didn't even understand it really.
You know?
That happens a lot. I feel like that's one of the biggest issues in relationships is sometimes like y'all have miscommunication is just miscomprehension at the end of the day.
Huge.
9 times out of 10, it's just miscomprehension. It's just
Yeah.
like, why the fuck didn't you
I
understand
would
me?
just like to say
Like, you should understand me.
the guy who called her a liar spelled liar wrong. Just-
Oh wow, bro!
Yeah.
They're gonna get you now. Go to
Damn.
live chat really quick.
Someone said liar.
What's your?
I didn't, I
We
gotta
did
read
favorite
that.
features.
We have one more super chat.
Oh, there's
What's
another
that?
one.
Let me pull it up.
$10 from Tony, dude. Thank you, Tony Esquire. Excellent show, Sergio. Showing support, dude. I appreciate your support every time, man.
Thank
I
you for
really,
your support.
really can't say thanks enough, man. But yeah, ladies, back to the question. Did everybody answer the what? Yeah, everybody did answer the what's your favorite features, right?
What's her height?
Ah, she's short.
It's a secret. Don't worry about it.
Guys, she's
You gotta
short
rewind
as
the
fuck.
show back.
No, for real. Like, you're gonna have so many DMs after the show now just because I revealed your height. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, these guys are about to be annoying as fuck. I could tell. I want to know now. Do you think that a man wants a girl that she has a lot of options? Like, she has a lot of guys chasing her. Like, she's like that girl, and all the guys
They
want her.
definitely don't. They
Ooh.
definitely don't.
What do you think? You don't think so?
They definitely
Y'all
don't.
don't
Not
think
at
so?
all.
Really?
Because once they get a girl like that, they don't know how to act.
Oh, really? That's why.
That's very true.
What do y'all think? Why?
I definitely don't. I don't think men like. They don't like the competition. Like it was like, oh dang, I'm coming in.
Yeah,
and
I
you
want that
already,
just
you
to be
already got
mine.
a lineup.
Yeah, I don't want
But
that.
the same way men have their own lineup, women have theirs too. But women are a little bit more.
I think there's a middle ground.
It's a
There's
middle
a middle
ground.
ground?
We have a little bit more open to. About, oh, you got a couple people. I'm coming in, and you already got.
I would kind of say there's a middle ground just because like if the guys want pretty girls usually, so like if you want a pretty girl, there's
Then once they
definitely
get a pretty
10 other
one-
there's definitely 10 other dudes that want her if she's pretty, like she's
Well,
like a
so
9
what
or a
have
10.
when they
Get
lose their attraction when they get
Well,
older.
so
Well-
here's the thing: you got the men who fight so hard to get with the Instagram model, right? Because she's that chick, and they
Dorks.
the man. Well, there's a lot
Yeah, I
of dorks
know,
out
right?
there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dorks out
No,
there.
I agree with you. Yeah,
But
100%.
so just using that, there are men who will fight for that woman, right? The model, the woman who. Just
I would say those are the worst guys to want to be with, though,
No, I
right?
don't- I
If they're
don't
chasing
disagree.
those type of girls, like
Yeah.
when she say, yeah.
And us as women, Michael B. Jordan is absolutely beautiful, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
would
for
never
sure.
want to date him because I would have to worry every single time that man walks out the door if somebody tries to snatch him.
That's a lie. Did you not see what happened with Lori Harvey or
Don't
whatever?
get me
Yeah,
started
no,
like that.
no,
We not
no.
Bro,
No,
he
that
was a
man.
simp.
We're not
We're
going
not
there.
even
That-
going to
We're not
talk
going
about that.
Michael Jordan's a simp.
I'm
He
just
stays
saying.
loyal. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah, he's super. I'm just saying he's super loyal. Like,
Can you just call Michael B. Jordan a simp?
How do you know he's super
bro,
loyal?
bro,
Do you
he
know Michael
literally
B.
they
Jordan
broke up because he
personally?
wanted it to be more.
Yeah, he
more
wanted to
like.
cuff her.
Do
but
you know this?
I'm not even
Firsthand,
He wanted to
are
offer a
you friends
relationship.
with either
I'm just saying.
one?
I just think I would have been okay with what you said if he would have used a different example. Michael B. Jordan, come on,
He
bro.
not even that
He
cute.
really, he's a good guy.
He
He
is a good
really
guy.
wanted
Okay,
that girl.
I can't
That
even
shit's
use
sad,
I can't even
bro.
use-
I
That
don't
doesn't
know
mean
their
he
life.
was acting. That doesn't
He
mean he
was.
was doing what he needed to do.
Bro,
to keep
have you seen
her.
his Instagram?
Do you know
This
him?
man acts like he's fully taken.
These
Like,
people,
what do
you are
mean?
talking about people
Doesn't
who
she make
sign
people
NDAs
sign an
in
NDA?
a relationship.
NDA?
That's exactly what I was getting
So
to.
I actually
That's
disagree
exactly
with
what
her.
I was getting to. You're talking about people that sign NDAs. You don't know shit. You don't know what was going on in their relationship.
He
It was
seems like a
you know
good
what-
guy. Okay,
He does.
his,
He does.
his
I will
PR
agree.
team is really good. That's all I'm gonna say.
All of theirs.
His
a lot
PR
of their
team's really
teams
good.
are great.
So
Yeah.
I would actually
I-
disagree with you, and here's why. Lori Harvey is nepotism at its finest, for one.
I don't know
Now
enough
she
about
is
her.
beautiful. No one can take that from that
Without
woman.
a
She
doubt.
is young.
Without a
She is
doubt.
beautiful. She ain't got no kids. Like she
Yeah,
is
she's
like
gorgeous.
what
She's
what
Steve
the
Harvey's
red
daughter.
pill would say is
Yeah.
like the perfect woman, right?
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She's of that age where
She's
she's
just
a
not.
prime.
She doesn't act the right way though.
Well, so here's the thing. So you have someone like Michael
does
B.
she
Jordan,
act?
right? Your producer just called him a simp. You know why? Because Michael B. Jordan did what I would argue, and I would argue because I don't know for facts, but I would argue that 95% of women would literally jump off of a bridge for
If they
their
did it.
man to do. He
Yeah.
rented out an aquarium,
Yeah.
and what they said based off of talk, right? Nobody knows this for sure, but they said that he wanted to propose to her and she was not ready to settle down, you know. Now, speaking on just say, let's say that's why they split. She wants to keep her social status. She has dated the like echelon,
Elite.
the top echelon of men. She went from like the
She had
son to the
Future,
father.
You
didn't
know, the
she?
son to the father.
Yeah, like
and the Holy
literally-
Spirit.
You want to talk about what was that thing
The
that
Father,
she
the
called
Son,
it?
and the Holy Spirit.
What is it called? That you said that women want to go to the left and up. What is it called?
Oh, hypergamy.
Thank you. She is the definition of that
Hypergamous,
because
yeah.
she will go to where the publicity is the best for her, right?
Mhm.
But people call Michael B. Jordan a simp when in all reality he is the epitome of what I would call an alpha male. He is good
Absolutely.
looking. He has his finances together. You don't hear nothing about that man in the news. That
No,
would
but-
be bad
but-
publicity. You hear nothing about that man.
Alpha
And-
males don't get denied though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
no,
lie. You
alpha,
you don't deny alpha males.
alpha. If no, I agree with him. If a guy was a true, like, if he was truly an alpha, she would have never said no.
No,
Nah,
you know
broke
why?
it.
nah.
She would have married. Yes.
disagree.
It doesn't matter. No, because I don't care how high a woman's value is. If she's with a guy that she truly looks up to as an alpha, she wants marriage. She wants kids. She wants all those things. But she did not see him as that because he was. Bassett's correct. He was a simp, and I'm not saying that he's in the simp of what you're thinking. He's a simp in the ways of just what he let her do, probably how the relationship worked. He was probably in her frame. We always talk about this in most relationships. And today, there's very few relationships where it's a woman walking into the guy's frame. It's usually the guy walking into the woman's frame because we're in a gynocentric society.
I can't
We're in a very
disagree with you this time.
You can't disagree with me?
No.
Yeah, well, it's just because
Obviously.
in today's society, in this gynocentric society, it's very hard. Like my relationship, my woman's definitely in my frame, but that's very rare. There's very few women that are willing to fucking put their pride down and walk into a guy's frame because it's hard to trust it. I wouldn't trust it either if I was a woman, man. There's very few guys that you can trust like that. Like I really don't blame women for this at all. Like at all. There's too few of guys. What do you think?
Not even what I think. I am not completely up to term with terms. What is a fucking simp?
Oh God.
So like I'll tell you how I define it because a lot of people are confused about the term. So what I just always say is it's a
good guy. A good guy.
no, it's not a good guy at all. Have you never heard me like bring up what a simp is?
We've argued about this before.
Well, I don't know how you could argue against this one thing that I define it as because it's very simple. It's just an unequal exchange of value.
Well,
Like-
I argue it because of what men have equated simps to be. There is a difference between that guy who, and we all know him, okay? He is the guy who from sunup to sundown is messaging you. He has not gotten a message back from you, but he will continue messaging you because he just thinks at some point you are going to drop your standards low enough or get desperate enough to actually answer.
Okay,
All
well, here,
Stalker.
let me just define it real quick. Okay, so that is like an extreme simp, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But there's still simping in the form of, say, like a guy who simping to me is just liking a picture or just commenting or just giving money, energy, attention, and time and getting nothing in return. If a guy takes you on 4 or 5 dates and you don't even give him a peck on the cheek, that is an unequal exchange of value. He's giving all this. He's trying very hard. He's doing all this stuff to try to get you to like him, and you never have to give him anything. That is a simp because
Sounds
he's
like a trick.
yeah, no, he is at a certain point. He does become a trick because he'll just end up paying for sex at a certain point. So yes, I agree, he is a trick. But
Yeah.
what I always say is every guy is a simp until they learn, and then every guy is also a simp that just guys that get into simping and they never stop. They just haven't become a trick yet. They're going so they're just sooner or later they're gonna realize, oh damn, I've been blowing thousands of dollars just buying these girl stuff and just taking them to dinners and all this. I might as well just spend $1,000 to fuck this girl, you know. So they turn into a trick sooner or later. You gotta flip it around. But it's all it is just an unequal exchange value. So where Michael B. Jordan fucked up was where he was a simp at was he was probably not a simp. Like he wasn't like that dude sending a million messages or anything like that. He would probably simped in just little small areas that made her not respect him anymore.
Yeah.
Like him maybe being like, yeah, baby, you can go do this. Yeah, go out with your friends and go do that. Like, you know, like being too trusting and just giving a woman too much freedom, they don't feel protected anymore. A woman wants to feel protected. So sometimes a guy just being a good guy actually turns him into a simp because he's just being too freeing, because he's trying to just be too nice. Just being nice sometimes can hurt you. Like honestly, the best relationships are the ones where the girl's chasing the guy and he's not being nice to her. Like, that sounds shitty, but it's just the truth.
Okay, so I'm with you because that's not the explanation you gave me last time. But with that explanation, I can't inherently disagree with that. However, I think a lot of the times, like, we push for our women to go back to traditional traits, right?
Mhm.
Well, traditionally, women would be the ones to essentially put out the signal. Like back in the 20s and 30s, back in the
Yeah, y'all would
World War
drop the
II.
handkerchief.
Correct. Now that was our way of saying I'm interested in you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to test your chivalry right
With
now,
the-
and I'm going to drop my handkerchief in front of you,
See
and we're
if you
going to
pick
see
it
what
up.
happens. Now you pick up the handkerchief. You know who dropped it. If you look at her and you go, "Oh yeah," you're going to go and you're going to go, "Ma'am, you dropped this," and that's going to spark the conversation. If you don't find her attractive, you know, I don't know whose handkerchief that is, and you're going to go about your business. So men want traditional women without doing what men used to traditionally do, which was courting. So if this man is courting, now don't get me wrong, I am not saying that after 30 dates of you spending your hard-earned money on this woman and her not reciprocating anything back, that is a problem. Not necessarily on the man. I would argue that's more on the woman.
Wait,
and her
wait,
being
wait,
a
wait,
Where she's
utilizer.
finessing him.
Wait.
Yes, I would say so.
So,
Lauren,
so you need
30
30 days?
No,
Hold on.
I'm done after 2.
I'm being
What?
facetious. I'm being facetious. I'm
Bro, what are
going
you
to the
talking about, man?
extreme
Yeah.
on that one, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being literal. Like, arguably, I would even argue if you've gone on 5 dates and there's no reciprocation whatsoever, she's just sitting there munching on her food and taking pictures for Instagram, then yeah, that is a problem.
So you're bringing up courting, you know, like we want traditional women, so we should court, right?
That was what
Right?
traditional
On
men
both
used
sides.
to do.
Yeah. That's what traditional men. Okay, why the fuck would we court women that aren't traditional women? Are you virgins? Are any of y'all three
Bruh.
virgins right now?
No,
Why the fuck would we court
Damn.
y'all?
but that's not what courting is.
No, courting is for a traditional woman. Like, a traditional man courts a traditional woman. A traditional woman is a virgin. Okay, so like, what are y'all talking
So
about?
I got a question for you.
How do I reach these kids?
I got a
Him and
question.
these commentaries.
So me, I'm divorced, right?
Yeah.
So let's play
Devil's advocate.
thank you. Hypothetical is the word I was actually looking for. Let's play hypothetical, right? Let's just say my ex-husband was the first man I had ever been with in my entire life, right? I
Mhm.
was with my ex for 7 years.
Mhm.
I am now divorced.
Mhm.
Does that mean I am not allowed courtship because
Okay,
I'm not a virgin
so
anymore?
there's obviously nuance to what I just said. So okay, but
She
now
got happy.
here's the thing.
No,
But
I'm
no,
frustrated.
hold on. Okay, so there's nuance to it. Now, do you only have one body?
No,
Exactly. That's
no,
my
but
point.
no.
You're
What
not
I'm
a
saying-
virgin, but you also don't just have one man. So you're not
Okay,
traditional
but
at all.
that-
Most women today got a lot of bodies. Okay, y'all might be exceptions to the rules and be good little Christian women or something, but most women out here ain't good little Christian women. They got 5,
Neither are
10,
men.
20 plus.
Damn.
Do you think men and women are the same?
In body count?
No, I'm just saying in general.
We talking about body count.
Hold on. Answer the question. Every time I ask these type of questions, ladies, I want y'all to understand. I've done this show for over 90 episodes. Now I'm on like 97 total. Okay, like 57 with women on the panels. All right. I've asked these
59.
questions. Yes, 59. I've done this multiple times. I'm very good at knowing exactly what you're going to say, exactly what I need to respond to certain things. Okay, so when I ask these simple questions, it's because I have something lined up right afterwards. Okay.
But
So
you
what
Are
do you
men-
think?
body
What do you think
it's a very
she's
simple
gonna
question. I just
say?
want you to say. I already know what she's going to say. Are men and women the same? If she says yes or no, I got a response to either one. Are men and women the same?
Pause before I
No.
answer this. Because we got to get
You lawyer
clarification.
talking me.
Yeah,
She's lawyer talks me every time, guys. She
And
went to
you
school for
love
this
it,
shit.
Sergio.
I hate it, bro. No, it drives me crazy. Honestly, it's
I'm
just
so
it's
glad it
fallacies out
does.
the
I'm so
ass,
glad it
man. I
does.
hate fallacies.
But I have to get clarification. That's how I'm going to answer the
Okay.
question. However, before you asked that question, we were talking about body count. So before I answer this correctly,
Yeah.
or at least into my opinion, which one are we talking about? Body count?
Have you ever had a dream that
Get on
that
my
you
nerves.
had
Oh my god.
I'm gonna put you in a corner.
No,
Damn,
it's
man.
because like
You
this
want-
is something that's brought up very often. Okay, well, like a woman with a body count. Oh, well, what about men? They got worse body counts. You think this is the first time I've ever heard what you just said? I've heard this 1,000 times. So because you just said that, now I need to ask you, like, because we need to establish some context here. Okay, are men and women the same? That's why I asked you that. Are men and women the same?
So we are referring to body counts.
Well, we're just saying in general.
general.
No. We're gonna say just in general. Like, I'm a human, you're a human, but are we different sexually? Like,
We-
as a woman, you can produce kids. I can do this. We're different, correct?
Definitely different.
Yeah. Okay. And we can even look at even when we're first born, our cells and everything is actually completely different between men and women.
Correct.
Another
Looking at chromosomes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And another study, if I really want to bring it up, when you look at gay people, straight people, and everything, the answers that women give and men give whenever when somebody cheats, like there's a lot of studies I can prove that men and women are completely different. Okay.
Correct.
Mentally, physically, all of it. All right.
Emotionally,
So when we
integrity.
if we establish that, okay,
Mhm.
we can also establish that cheating or sleeping or not. We're not talking about cheating. So, but sleeping around body counts, okay, it's completely different compared to a woman having a high body count and a man having a high body count.
If you
It's
want
not
it
the
to
same
be,
thing.
it depends
But
on the
why is
woman's
that?
mindset.
If you want it to be.
It depends.
But
I
Emotionalism, guys, right here.
feel like a lot of men cheat because of a physical aspect. I feel like a lot of women cheat because of a mental aspect.
You're right, because women are emotional and men are physical.
but-
You're completely correct.
But we could both look at it from each other's point of shoes, and if we choose to go that way, go that way.
I would say that like it's really hard to be like we like talk about empathy and sympathy. I would say that women have a lot of sympathy for men, but to have empathy, and same for me, I can't have empathy for women. For me to be able to feel exactly how y'all feel about certain things, I'm not a woman. I can't fucking put myself in your shoes. Can I have sympathy for your issues? Obviously, yeah. But you really can't know what it feels like to have 17 times testosterone flowing through your body like I do. Okay? Your horniness at 2 weeks after your period doesn't even come close to my horniness on a daily level. 17 times, okay? So our sexual drives are completely two fucking different things. And it was because of Mother Nature for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years of why that was the case. We were fucking monkeys not that long ago. Come on.
So
Fat ass too, respectfully.
my question to you: what is the difference between a woman's body count and a man's body count?
So anything that is easy isn't respected. Okay? So because it's easy for y'all to get sex, you will lose respect. You will not be respected for it. Because you can jump on a dating app right now. You could probably go outside and put your ass in there. There's a lot of if you really felt like it, you could get sex pretty quick. Okay? A man though, 33% of men in between the ages of 18 and 30 aren't even having sex right now. Virgins and or haven't had sex in the last year. So most men don't get sex. That's 1/3 of men don't get any at all. So about a good half, some of them are getting some in a relationship and shit, but most men don't get sex. It's the top percentage that do. So the men that y'all are usually mad at, the ones that are sleeping around a lot or being hoes and shit, that's a very hard thing to achieve. And it's because they're respected, or we respect people who are able to achieve something like that because it's hard. Anything that is hard is always going to be respected. Anything that is easy won't. And that's why women are shamed for body counts and men aren't. Because but the really sad thing is the women keep chasing the guys that have the higher body counts. But it's not going to be the other way around. The guys are going to keep chasing the girls with 50 body counts.
Well, I think a lot of the times men will not admit something that's very, very prominent, which it's ironic. So some men will say that a woman is a prude, right?
Yeah.
But who are the prudes? The prudes are the women who grew up in a very, very traditional household.
Like Christians and
who
stuff, yeah.
may still be virgins at 25, 26. And let me ask you, if you met a woman who was legitimately a virgin at 25, 26, the first question in your head would be what?
What's wrong with you?
Exactly. So that's the thing.
Well, I was literally saying that just a joke, but honestly, what I would honestly say, like I'm being completely honest with you, I would say we wouldn't be compatible because I'm not some good Christian guy anymore. I'm not like I used to be. Don't get me wrong. I used to be a very strong Christian back in the day, but that's just not who I am anymore. I don't see myself as being able to make a woman like that happy. I think that I would fail in certain categories because I'm not a perfect person.
So
I think that she would be better off with somebody who's closer to virginity or lower body count because they wouldn't be as ruined or fucked up.
Statistically speaking, more marriages fail, especially their first marriages, if they were married young. Reason being is they have not actually experienced anything.
They don't even
And
know who
most
they
women-
are.
So you're right if they're not in the church, because there's been a lot of studies also done that, you know, if you marry somebody and you do everything correctly, like with the church values and stuff, and you stay within the church and you read if you pray and you do all these things, like a lot of Christians have been able to prove recently that it's actually very good if you follow all the rules.
Well,
but the problem is a lot of people don't follow the rules.
Well, no, well, not only that, but speaking, like, we're not talking about the ones who claim to be and do, you know, their own depravity.
Claim they are, but
behind
this, but they
doors,
do
right?
that. Yeah.
If you were to ask legit Christian marriages who have been married since, say, arguably 18, 19 years old, right? People that they went to school with, people that their parents 100% agreed with, cool. If you were to ask them by 30 if they feel fulfilled, they will say emotionally yes, physically no. And because at that point you don't know what you like.
Well,
But
I gotta ask really quick though, whose fault is it that they couldn't figure out their physical self?
So a lot of the times, especially in those kinds of households, they're not allowed to, like I said, be very open about their sexuality and what they want.
I'm gonna peel it back again. Whose fault is that then?
Their households.
Yeah. And who made them into the household, which was their
the nurture
parents
part,
or the
yes,
religion or
the
whatever it
nurture
is.
part.
The
Because
biggest issue
nature
today
takes
is
over.
Christianity has been taken over and it's not speaking things correctly. Because if we did teach Christianity correctly, there would be happy sexual lives in the household. But it's shamed so much, which I would agree with you. There's tons of Christians and churches that do this shit, and it fucks up sexuality for everybody. It makes it to where they're scared to have sex or have orgasms. Stuff like, yeah, that's all fucked up. But whose fault was that?
But
you
even
know,
with that, it's
not the guy's fault. It's not the you know,
Yeah.
like
It's also been statistically proven that more women than men have not orgasmed truthfully without themselves, like with their partner. They will orgasm with themselves.
yeah. And
But
that's
there's so many women. It's actually depressing if you look at the statistics. How many women do not know what it feels like to have an actual orgasm, right?
and that's sad.
So the thing is, if you meet a young woman who has not really figured herself out yet, how can she please you if she doesn't even fully understand
Shit,
herself?
it's really easy for
It's
a guy.
really
actually.
easy,
Yeah,
right?
it's really easy for a guy.
No,
No,
but
no,
they
no, no.
say- no,
She can
but they
please
say
him,
that.
but the bottom line is that she's willing to fucking destroy the marriage and leave it just because she can't have an orgasm.
no, but
that's her fucking problem, though.
How many men?
That
have
is
you
usually
heard-
her fault.
How many men have you heard of the dead fish complex, where they get with the woman? She is beautiful. She is prime rib, if you will, but she has no idea what she's doing. And you can teach somebody something, sure, but you know it's
So-
not necessarily the same as somebody who has some kind of experience. I'm not saying that she needs to sleep with all of Dallas to get her experience up, but at the same time, most men will not admit
So-
that they don't want the woman
So
who
what you're-
has only two bodies
So,
to
so,
their name.
so what you're saying though, this is called the Madonna whore complex for guys, okay? And this, no, that like this is literally, you can Google it. This is
No,
on
I'm laughing 'cause
Wikipedia.
y'all come up with some names.
Yeah, no,
man.
this
really
is
do.
the Madonna whore complex has been around since Carl Jung. He's been talking about this is something that has been in theory for decades actually, about men and their sexual desires and like what they like and stuff like that. And the reason why they bring this up is because the guy can have the Madonna, the perfect girl, the perfect woman at home, but she's not so sexually crazy, and he'll cheat on her with the whore because he wants those crazy experiences like you're saying and stuff like that. It's called the Madonna whore complex for this reason. I heavily disagree with. I don't think that's true at all. Like as a guy, that I'm supposed to be experiencing this. I don't. I don't believe. I don't think that's true at all. I would choose that girl who was the virgin or two bodies, and it's not like the only reason why I won't choose it is because I know I'm fucked up. But if it's as far as like wanting a girl with sexual experience, no, that's not what you want. The girls that have crazy sexual experience or like all that crazy stuff like that, they usually have cluster B disorders, okay? And I'm telling you this as a guy that has a lot of experience with women, okay? I'm not bullshitting you, okay? I've fucked with a lot of girls. I've had a lot of girls cheat on their boyfriends with me, cheat on their fiancés and shit, okay? These girls that are hypersexual, okay? That's what they usually are. They're usually hypersexual. They have cluster B disorders. And I coach men. I tell them cluster B disorders is it's borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. Any of those disorders are all in that same field as cluster B disorders. Mm-hmm. And those women are usually hypersexual, and I teach guys all the time, you need to avoid those women. Don't if you have the Madonna whore complex in your mind, it's an immaturity thing. Guys need to get that shit out of their head if they want that girl that's sexually like the sexually crazy girl, because that's not the best person for you to be in a relationship
but like
with.
you said, there's nuances and there's exceptions to the rule. you just admitted you're an exception to the rule because you would prefer the virgin, but you just admitted that generally speaking, more men want the experienced woman.
But let me explain why. Like, there's more nuance to it. Okay, so the reason why most guys would choose that is because most guys don't have experience with women. The guys that do have experience with women, like I do, I know what a cluster B disorder looks like in a girl now. I know what a hypersexual woman looks like and a normal woman because I've fucked both. And I can literally compare them, and I've had long conversations with both to see why this one acts this way and why this one's completely different. How they were raised, everything about them.
I could tell you right now, I'm sure most women would agree. I can't speak for all women, but most women would agree. They may not want a virgin man because what is that man really going to be able to do for you? I'm not saying that I want a man who has
that would be a
body
huge
count
exception. That would be a huge exception because most women want a guy with experience. Like that's like there's very few women that want a guy that has no experience at all.
My boyfriend is the kind of guy who has only had sex with women he has been in relationships with, and he's only had a handful. Yeah. And that man, me and him, we have great sexual chemistry. Why? Because I've had my experiences. He's had his experiences.
Well, just because a guy has say, I'm not saying the sim at all, but just say a guy has 4 or 5 bodies, like just like how a girl can have 4 or 5 bodies, but they were all serious relationships. She can be amazing at sex and have 4 bodies because she was in nothing but serious relationships. So she always practiced good, happy sex in her relationships. Like you can, the thing is, you can be sexual. There's a huge difference between being sexual and hypersexual. Okay. And I'm not saying y'all might not even know what hypersexual is because y'all aren't even it. Okay. But like, there's a certain caliber of women that are hypersexual as fuck. Like the type of women that will go and just suck a guy's dick immediately at the fucking bathroom, you know? Like there's some really crazy some crazy shit going on out here. Here, let me read the super chats, bro. I know I'm behind on quite a few. I noticed.
It's Tony.
I think a little
Tony
bit. Yeah. Tony on the 5. Tony, thank you again, Tony Esquire 5. Ironically, the women who discourage pick-me's are the ones who've never been picked themselves. She's in a relationship. Not an attack on tonight's panelists, just saying. Yeah, to troll you. $2 from the Gray Pill Podcast. Salute to the chat panel. Salute, Gray Pill. Thank you for coming, bro. $5 another W stream. Thank you, Jose, man. I really appreciate you, bro. $10 from Tony again, Esquire. 2023 U.S. Census, the bottom 50%, roughly 63 million families, about 175 million overall, owns about 2.5% of wealth. The top 10% of Americans hold nearly 70% of wealth. More poor than rich. Yeah,
established that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. What's the next one? $5 from Morel for all. Man with the high bodies equals high value. Highly qualified and preferred. Women with high bodies equals low value, lack of discernment. Yes, that is, and that's the easiest way to put it also, ladies, is like a woman with a high body count, she has a really bad ability to discern men, and then she also has a really bad ability to lock down the guys and hold them down. So that's another reason why it looks really bad.
Question before we move on to the next start. What is with the double standard between men and women? I understand that you're saying that, women who, or you classify them as easy, but wouldn't men also be classified as easy too?
Because I'll explain to you why. So you brought up the double standard thing. Let's establish one thing really quick.
Okay.
The world is full of double standards.
We know that.
The world is very sexist, okay? There's certain things that women can do and there's certain things that men can do. Yeah, there's privileges. Like I can't go get on a yacht at 19 probably. But there's a girl that can go to Miami and get on a yacht at 19 pretty fucking easily. Yeah. And y'all can skip the line at the club, And I would also say the privilege switches based off of age. Like a woman has a lot of privilege at a young age, and a man gets a lot of privilege at 30, 35.
Okay.
Okay. But so because of that, we can establish, this double standard is a normality. This is reality. We need to accept it. There's no reason to be mad about it or be like, this isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Okay. So like, we just have to accept it. Like, and the reason why it's that way is because of how we're biologically wired. Like, I don't try to sit here and tell guys that they should hate hoes. They naturally feel that way. I don't have to sit there and teach them to be this way. And I don't have to teach women to want a guy with experience and to be a smart older guy or like a guy that's established. Y'all naturally want those things because you were wired to. Because for 300,000 years, you knew that you were going to die if you had a baby in the wilderness. You were wired to have a provider and a protector. So a lot of these things that we go back to, we start finding out that we're just hardwired with these things. Like the software can change. Like we can be in a society that tells us to do this thing or think this way or love this, but the hardware doesn't change. We still are hardwired a certain way. And don't get me wrong, like we were saying, intelligence makes it to where you can fight against your hardwiring, but how intelligent are you, That's what it comes down to.
And he's not wrong, because like, yes, it sucks, but a lot of women who are more sexual, like they have more sexual partners, they are looked at, and even women do it. We all look at each other and we judge each other like, oh man, like,
Yeah, and there's a
she's
reason why
weird,
for all of
bro.
history women have done that too. Shamed women that way. But to go to the very end, you're saying like, why don't we judge guys, like call guys easy as well? And like you can call those guys easy because yeah, there are some guys that are like 6'4" Chad Tyrones, and they will literally fuck like a girl that's like a 5'2" fucking 300-pound girl. Like they might have no standards at all. You know what I'm saying? And like, I would agree. Like, yeah, that does kind of make them easy. But the biggest thing to remember is there's a very small percentage of guys that get it like that. Like we're talking like if we look at Tinder studies, it's the top 4.5% get swiped on, and that's it.
Okay.
Most guys don't get swiped on.
So I'm only saying this because we literally just talked about this in class.
Yeah.
But we talked about how there are men who they start their their sexual escapades at an earlier age than women do. So you have men or young men who are starting to have sex at 8, 9, 10 years old, but they don't tell people that. They're literally trying to fit in.
No, wait. That is cap. Women
That's
start having
statistically
sex
proven.
way
I just learned that in
higher.
class. No, I just learned that in class. That's statistically proven that men have sex earlier than women do.
I got a question.
Yes.
When do you think I lost my virginity?
I don't even question. I don't
Well, I think
know.
you said
15?
When would you say
19?
most men lose their virginity at?
Relatively 15, 16.
15, 16?
18.
Bassett, like, when do you think he lost his virginity?
That's the one we met earlier, right?
Yeah. My producer.
I'm going to say 15, 16.
Bassett, when did you lose your virginity?
I lost mine at like 18, yo.
Okay.
relatively
Yeah.
close.
So I lost mine at 19.
Yeah.
And I would
lost
say
mine at 23.
And I would say most of my guy friends, though, if I think about like everybody in my friend group that I went to high school with, there's a couple badass dudes, like the quarterback of the football team. Like there was a few there was a couple guys that they were definitely hitting it early, like 12, 13, 14. Yeah,
And that's like
But
the extreme. That
we're
takes
talking-
like abuse to get to that age. though.
yeah.
That-
But
that's
but
age.
but most of my friends, we're talking 17, 18, 19 until any of them even got their first serious relationship for them to even have the opportunity to even lose their virginity.
But what she's saying is the same thing we said about poverty. Like, yeah, you got your 1%ers, and then
I
you
would
got
love
your
to like
poverty,
you
but
said that y'all were talking about this. I would love to
statistically
see that study because I don't see how it's physically possible. Like because women, they all mature earlier. Like a lot of guys don't even have like you can't even produce fucking cum until fucking you're 13, 14 for some dudes. Like
And
so
with
in
the
our
ladies,
study,
the ladies
can
are doing
talk.
it like 15, at least 16.
I know for
It's
me
crazy.
personally, I'm just saying this is all anecdotal, but from my anecdotal experience, I definitely saw more women losing virginities earlier than the men. That's just anecdotal for me.
So in our study, it was more so like what's his name? I don't want to get it wrong.
Bassett.
Bassett.
Yeah.
Got it.
Call Mr.
Okay.
Producer.
Mr. Producer. So in our study, it was more so underage. We're gonna say underage.
minors.
Yeah, minors, where they didn't tell anyone that what happened.
Yeah.
So it was someone.
That's
who
the shitty
was,
thing about those studies.
you
Whenever
know?
they're self-reported,
So it was more so like, okay, well,
It's an evil world we live.
They got jacked off, or they did this, and so it started to get into their mindset, like, oh, okay, well, this is probably what I'm supposed to be doing. But
I can definitely see us starting masturbating earlier. I can 1,000% say that guys might start masturbating earlier. Yeah,
So
I could agree with that one maybe, but actually having sex, I can find that one a little bit harder. But masturbating and definitely getting you in the mindset of being sexualized at a young age, I could definitely understand that a little bit. But the real reason why guys sleep around, though, goes back to that 17 times testosterone thing. Like a breeze can flow past my dick and I get a boner. I'm telling you, like it's that bad. Like it's literally that bad. So like. We always like to really compare men and women and like
somebody take him off the computer.
And I know you're like really smart, because you got your math. I really cannot say enough. You need to check out Dr. David Buss's books, like The Evolutionary Desire, The Murder Next Door. Like this guy is like the evolutionary biology, like evolutionary psychology, the biggest guy in evolutionary psychology. He teaches at UT Austin. He's fucking.
Make sure you give me
telling,
those names.
I'm definitely going to, because I could tell that you're the type of person where you're gonna love some of the shit in his books, and his books are really equal. It's not like he's just sitting there saying women are this or anything. Like, no, he's very equal. It'll be like women are like this, and then the men do this on the other side, and like it's really cool. His studies were done across 37 cultures, and like he literally did his studies from the Netherlands, like the people in the most equal those societies in the most equal part of Europe, you know, where women and men are 50-50 on almost everything, to New Guinea, where we're fucking like tribal as fuck. Like he literally tested all these cultures to really try to figure out what do men like and what do women like how are we biologically wired, you know. And it's so crazy when you really look at the stats and you really look at how we are, because the problem is like psychology today, and like he's one of the few professors pushing like that talks about this stuff, and none of the other professors in other universities will even argue with him. He just did an interview like a few months ago, and he was talking about how like tons of women in Evo psychology across the country and other colleges disagree with him, and they write books saying that they disagree with all these things, but they never go directly at him. They never will come and actually talk to him and be like, yo, we disagree, because what they all believe is something called blank slateism, which we're all the same blank slate. Like men and women, you know, like we may pee differently or whatever the fuck, but mentally everything we're the same. Everything
all the way across the
and
board,
it's
not
dangerous.
at
It's
all.
extremely dangerous, and our colleges are fucking full of this shit, man. And it's gonna take a lot of pushing for this to ever get changed. There was an actual a guy, he might have been in Canada, but he lost his tenure over this. He was a teacher, and all he did a study to find out that on dating apps, black men were the most desired, black women were the least desired, and Asian men were the least desired, and Asian women were the most desired. And just because he did that, just because he published that, he lost his job. That's how bad it is. Like that's how scary this world is right now.
It's an evil world we live in.
And I do this podcast because I'm one of the few guys that if I started this shit, it wasn't going to destroy my income. It wasn't going to destroy my ability to have women. I already had an amazing, beautiful, awesome girlfriend. I already made really good money regardless of what the fuck was going on in the world. It was just like I needed to do this because nobody else will talk about this, or else they'll lose their job. They'll lose their ability to have sex. They'll lose like their families.
I say censorship is a real thing, especially in today's society where it's become a Me Too. Like you can say one small, minute thing and it offends everyone, or it offends a small population, and you just lose everything.
Yeah, I think we're fighting against that though right now. We're starting to see that the wokeness and like the canceling isn't working anymore. It's not working as much anymore.
Yeah.
What's the next one, bro? Was that it? Oh yeah, $5 from Mitch from Mar. The Mar woman is not even 1/3 the woman my grandfather had. Why would I give my meat to 304s who want to be traditional women? It's convenient. What he's saying by meat is money, energy, attention, time. Why would I give my money, energy, attention, time to a 304 who wants to be traditional when it's convenient? That's something that we like to bring up. Is so like ladies like sometimes what happens is like for men we have to always be masculine. We have to. If you act like a little bitch or feminine or anything like that, you're pushed to the side real quick, okay? We have to always be it. Where women, y'all can sometimes be conditionally feminine. So like sometimes you're masculine because you have to work and you have to do these things, you have to do that. Or maybe this guy isn't that guy, so I'm going to act more masculine with him because he's not that guy, you know? Whereas like that's traditional femininity. It needs to be something where you're just always that way. You shouldn't be conditional. It shouldn't be based off of him doing something or him doing this. And it just shows like scars. It shows trauma whenever it's conditional. And like I just really believe that if you really like that guy, if he's really cute and you know he got to get up, just fucking act very feminine right then from the start and just keep it up. Well, so until he doesn't deserve it no more.
Like from experience, arguably, I pulled the handkerchief move with my boyfriend. You know, I did what we called gym flirting. You know, I was like,
gym flirting. Yeah.
Is anybody using this machine? Like clearly nobody using.
Can you help me lift?
Right. Well, ain't nobody spinning squats.
Yeah, that's funny though. The gym is a place where all this happens a lot now. Yeah.
But like I said, it's the handkerchief thing where you kind of throw it out there without being too forward, right? Yeah. But he'll tell you. When we had those conversations that we still have to this day, it is not a question of if he's a man or if he's the man of the house or anything like that, because he has earned, like you said, he's earned that right to be the more dominant one. And he's told me that when he met me, arguably I did have more masculine energy because of what I had went through.
Yeah.
And you do kind of build a guard when you've gone through so much with someone that you wanted that life with. Yeah. So then you learn, you know, hey, I got to be independent. I got to do it on my own because ain't nobody else going to do it for me. And when I left my ex-husband, I couldn't, support myself on his income. because it was nothing for me to be supported on. I had to support myself, and I've been very independent on my own for a very long time. But with my boyfriend now, oh, that man, like, if he wanted me to wash his feet, I would do it for him. because he has earned that right. He's earned that right, and he knows, like, I'm not that woman, but he's always wanted me to live in my femininity, and he's given me the safe space to do so.
Yeah.
And then femininity is definitely
What?
far and in between.
Yeah, I don't
definitely
think
far
working
in
makes you
between.
masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say they don't make you indulge in it anymore because people or women are seen as, oh well, we can do it all on our own and we can do that. And we were built or made to have a helping mate.
Yep.
We were built to, work with someone. But
Complementary.
society has definitely deemed, oh, you can do it all by yourself. By all means, there is no one in the society who can do it all by themselves. There's nothing that you
It's
can do
not
by
possible,
themselves. Like
yeah.
it's not possible. Like, and that's not me being like, the cost of living has increased and so forth. I'm just talking about in general. If something is going on with me, if I'm depressed, I'm going to need someone to go and talk to. If I feel suicidal, I'm going to need to go have a suicidal ideation done by someone else.
Yeah.
You
gotta
know,
be
you
social
have
minimum.
to have someone.
Yeah.
Like you could be antisocial, but you're still going to need someone.
Sooner or later.
You're going to need someone.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
Okay.
far and in between.
And I'll give you another like example really quick, towards like the conditional thing. So just a good example, if don't ruin this because you might have heard this point before. Like say like you're laying in bed with your husband, and somebody breaks in, like you hear the bottom door, get broken into, and you look over at your man and he's not getting up out of bed. He's not moving. And he's looking over at you, he's like you're he's like, yo, like, are you gonna go do something like that? How would that make you feel if he looked over at you and did exactly that? How would you feel? Just I want to know like what you feel in your heart. Like how does that make you feel?
I'm gonna give you two perspectives. One, I'll be like, what are you doing? Second, if we're talking to my mom and my dad, they'll be like, you got your thuka? Because I'm going to go get mine too. Because they somewhere around the house.
Yeah.
Everybody got one, so
Everybody.
we going together. You don't get up first, I'm gonna go get up, and you better get up behind me.
But it would make you feel some type of way if he didn't move at all.
At
You'd
all.
Be like, what the fuck are you
me,
doing?
And you send me like,
You want to see me
Yeah. How would you
Make it
feel?
out of here alive.
How would that make you feel if you had to do that?
We'd have a big problem.
You'd have a problem. How would that make you feel if that happened?
It will make me feel like he won't see me no more after tonight.
So, ladies,
I wouldn't feel safe at all. Like,
you wouldn't feel safe, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now I like to bring this example because this is how men feel when we have to tell women how to be women. And in society today, we have to do it all the time, man. And it feels shitty.
But a lot of men today in these days don't
deserve it. Yeah,
a man,
I agree with you. No, I agree. Like one of the biggest things I bring up, like the reason why it's so hard dating for women is because there's a lot of good women, very few good men, very few. So y'all are all fighting for those top ones. It makes it really inconvenient. And don't get me wrong, y'all can choose the plumber, the HVAC guy that makes $40,000-$50,000 a year.
They make more than that.
Yeah.
HVAC
well, they're gonna make way more too.
Figures.
Yeah, no. You give them 10 years to where they're journeymans and they're owning their own business. $250,000 a year. They're gonna be killing $500,000 sometimes, $1 million a year. Those guys.
Question, though.
Yeah. What?
How do y'all women know that these men aren't like the ones that are like willing to die for you, the ones that are like willing to hop out there when a stranger walk in the house?
Well,
so
if he's willing to die for me, he's gonna get out the bed when he hears noise, right?
It's gotta be obvious.
You're not gonna look at
I'm
me.
confused at the question. Like, what are you asking? Like, what do you mean?
Like, how are they supposed to be able to discern if he's a protector or not?
No, because Shorty said.
Which one?
The short one.
That's why you said Shorty.
Asia said that most of these guys aren't like willing, aren't those kind of men. They're not willing to die for their women. They're not.
Well, she brought up provision. She was saying like most guys can't even be like that level of provider, correct?
But I can answer that question.
Yeah.
You got men that won't even answer the phone for you because they think you're being annoying because you call them because you need their help with something. So, I mean, if I can't call you because you're at work,
I'm definitely against that.
Yeah, say the kitchen disposal is not working,
right?
And
why are you calling when he's at work? Though?
Yeah, but if he's at work, I don't know if he should be able to answer it if he's at work.
What if I got a flat tire? You telling me I got to get out of the car and do it myself? I mean, I know how to do it, but you got man.
If he's
right?
working,
if he's at work,
if he's working, so like here's actually so I've never brought this up on the show before, but I'm so excited to talk about this actually. So like something, I have a huge theory. Like I have a huge theory behind like exactly kind of what you just said. Like he's at work, or he's at work, he can't answer the phone and help you with what the fix, or he can't come and help you with the tire. I have a theory of why guys that are entrepreneurial, guys that are drug dealers, guys that have bought their time back in some way, shape, or form, and they just have more time. They are taking the cake on women right now, and the reason why is because y'all really prize a guy that has his time in his like he has the power of his time.
So that
He's
was a
not
bad
he's not
example
being
then.
led by another fucking leader.
That was a bad example as far as work. What I was just using that just because that's the
But
first
I
thought
would
popped
just say
into my
though
head.
that is a true thing though, that sometimes a
Yes.
woman, if she needs help, she really wants her guy to be able to help her right then.
Yes.
Not because some manager or boss
But,
is
I mean,
telling them
no,
you can't
but
answer the phone right now.
Within
You know?
reason. I'm not saying if
It
you
just
work
shows
at a
it
corporate job,
just shows a level of emasculation, whereas 100, 200, 300 years ago that wasn't happening. The guy was the leader of the house, he was the leader of everything, and he was able to provide everything that you needed. Whereas like now guys are kind of stuck in a system, and that system isn't attractive. A guy who's just a regular employee isn't attractive in my opinion.
So can I interject?
Yeah, go for it.
So one of my best friends, he shared with me this post because his girl is definitely about 8 or 9 years younger than him, and she expected him to be there at his beck
At her
and call.
whim,
You
yeah.
know, beck and call. She called, he was supposed to answer it. Like she would get mad if he didn't. However, he sent her a post saying, "My girl always thinks that I'm supposed to be there when she needs me. However, if I'm always there, then we're always going to be broke."
That's yes, exactly.
And like I wholeheartedly I agree with that. Like, yeah, I prefer for my man, like if I have something and I need you to do it, by all means,
Or at least answer the call.
you know, at least answer the call. However, I also understand that we're in a generation where we both have to work or we both have to do something, and there are other people who can do it. I can change my own tire. I can change my own oil. My dad taught me how to do that.
Yeah.
However, if I have a man who's willing to do that and they have the time to do it, I would prefer for you to come and help me.
Yeah, of course.
But
yeah.
if I can call AAA and they do it for me, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
But we also have to understand we live in a society where it's no longer where it can only be you to pay your bills. It has to be, sometimes a household has to be two people,
Yeah.
and both of y'all incomes probably still might not be able to pay what you have, especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
So like as I grow older and we grow with each generation, I'm starting to learn like, hey, you gotta work, I gotta work. And sometimes we gotta use those people who actually have those jobs who are intended to do those purposes.
Yeah.
So like in the beginning, if you would have asked me and I was 17, 18, yeah, if I call you, you need to come change my tire.
Yeah.
But I also knew that if I couldn't get you, I'm gonna get out my car, I'm gonna pop that trunk, and I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna trade it myself.
The biggest thing is like I would say like a guy who like say he's a big provider, but he's gone like he's working all the time, like he's always gone or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think
traveling.
there's any problem with that, especially if he's that guy and he's making good money and he's providing and stuff like that. But he has to answer the call. He has to text back. And this is, I don't know why this is even a thing in the guy's space. I don't get it. Because for me, it's very natural to just be a good guy and text back or answer the fucking call. Like, it's not a big deal. But yes, I agree with y'all that this is a huge issue with guys that I can't even tell y'all why they do it. I don't get it. But what I think it is they are working very hard and they're just focusing on their work as much as possible. And maybe they think that their woman's going to love them more the less they're around them, because that is sometimes the case. Sometimes being up your woman's ass is bad. And sometimes you leave her for 2 weeks at a time, and then when you get home, she sucks your dick better than she's ever done. So I can sometimes kind of see how the guys, why they kind of do it, why they play that little game sometimes of cat and mouse. It's to kind of keep the affection there in a way. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all
also,
the time.
sometimes,
it's definitely sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Not all the time.
Also, sometimes, like, y'all ladies, shout out to y'all. Love y'all and all that, but y'all be so unbearable to be around, man. So, like, answering the phone call.
Yeah, so like I have to talk to a lot of the guys that I mentor and I talk to about this too. Sometimes it's just like it's okay to spend time with your girl. Like, see, me personally, I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies, I don't watch TV shows. So when I do come and sit down and watch a movie with my girlfriend, it's like a special thing. So I never do that. And like if she wants her alone time, she's always. I'm in my office working. She's watching TV or crocheting or something. You know, like we're not always up each other's ass, but we're always around each other. A lot of people really don't understand. Like a lot of people are like, how the fuck are y'all together all the time? It's like we're not together all the time. We're in the same house, but we're not up each other's ass.
That's my boyfriend and I.
Yeah, and like that. I want to say that's what most healthy relationships are. What was the next one, bro? the next super chat. $5 from Morel for all. Sucker idolizing mediocre pussy. That's what a simp is, guys. Sucker idolizing mediocre pussy. Well, that's like what the acronym is. Yeah. Morel for all again with the 5. Literally, Lori said she didn't want to settle down. Women will defend women no matter what.
I'm definitely think Lauren was defending.
I was defending Michael.
She was defending Michael.
Oh yeah.
She was definitely defending
She's kind
Michael.
of defending Michael. Yeah, $5 from Morel. Great show. You're next, Sergio. Man, I hope I'm next, bro. Hey, speaking of that, we're about to start pushing it out really hard, guys. Just wait. Now that I got my course out and my coaching and the money's coming in, we're about to be taking over the world. $10
It's about to go down.
Yeah, $10 in Tony Esquire. Men aren't enough for masculine women as they're now battling traditional femininity. Instead of shaming, enjoy the results of being a boss babe. Men are built to live alone. Are you? Ooh, that is a good point. Men aren't enough for masculine women as they're now battling traditional femininity. Instead of shaming, enjoy the results of being a boss babe. Yeah. No. So I want to ask that, ladies. Do you think that you're built to live alone? Like, do you think that women can live until 70, 80, never having a family, never having kids, and like y'all are gonna be just as happy as a guy that did the same thing?
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the room.
Yeah. What I don't remember.
These days are disposable. We can get rid of them, and we can still go on.
Guys, I taught her that. I'm sorry.
You did.
I taught her that earlier.
No, we need to correct her, bro. Whenever we said
He
men
said
are,
it. He said
But
it.
look, I will admit that men are disposable and everything, but like say like you're a man, like you're a widowed at 50, 60. Like, do you want to die alone?
A lot of
But
women do.
that's not the question.
No, they do.
Are
I
we
agree.
built
I'm just asking,
to-
would you want to? Like when you're dying on your deathbed, like do you want to be alone?
Personally,
I don't know anyone who would.
Actually, can I speak on that last part?
Yeah.
Men are built to live alone. That is 100% not true. Because I don't know if you remember, but on Saturday when I watched you in, I believe it's pronounced Codillo, but I asked you about the incel community, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
I
incel
do
community is a group of men who are involuntarily celibate. Now, what that means is not you're going through a dry spell, or you just haven't gotten the right girl just yet, or you haven't realized that.
You're saying the ones that stay that way, the ones that are kind of stuck in cells.
No, but the ones that actually, in some way, shape, or form, they end up turning violent.
Yeah.
So much so towards women, and they have the whole the Chads and the Stacys.
yeah.
And
have you been on Reddit lately?
No.
Just kidding.
Ironically, I watch a lot of true crime, and there's a lot of
favorite.
true crime that have to do with incel communities.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And a lot of them have done mass murders.
Yeah.
Because
stuff.
there's one, he's called the Perfect Gentleman, and if you just listen to this guy, he makes your teeth want to fall out. Because he's like, I don't understand why women don't want me. I am amazing. I am perfect. I'm the perfect gentleman. And just listening to him is like a cheese grater going against your eardrum. But men are not meant to be alone or else you wouldn't have an incel community. Now, I would argue women would be depressed for sure, but you have not heard of the female equivalent to the incel community.
Well, it's because like we're physical, so like that's why we act out physical violence and do like all that bad stuff. I think emotional, like if we look at suicide also or I'm not supposed to say that. Fuck, self-deleting for but like we look at self-deleting for like women. There's a reason why y'all usually do it very like peaceful. Like y'all do it in a way where there's not a mess. Like
it's more
like,
beautiful.
Yes. So there's way more beautiful usually when y'all do it. Whereas guys, it's like very violent and physical, horrible, and like we're just two completely different things how we do stuff.
Testosterone wise, men, you can masturbate 10 times a day. It is not the same as actually having sex with someone.
Yeah,
so
I
incel
would
community,
agree.
they're masturbating all the time. They're watching porn. A lot of them are porn addicts.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, they are the proof that men cannot live alone.
Yeah, no. So like, I would agree with you. Like Tony, like I'm gonna have to say that I do agree with her on this, bro. Like I really truly believe that men and women are complementary, man. And just like how the women, if they're 80, 90 dying alone, I don't think it's good for the guy to die alone either, bro.
I'm not meant
shout out to Tony, but
yeah. Shout out to you though, bro.
I think he means like survival based.
Yeah, and so like, and Tony, I would say that like, and he is right in that in the context of like a guy going through bullshit or like because most guys like, have you ever seen the movie Taxi Driver?
Yes.
Okay, so like I just watched like a little thing that was like explaining that movie because I've never seen it, but I wanted to like read. I wanted a summary on it, kind of. But I would kind of compare it to something like that. Like guys usually have to live a life of loneliness, and we have to learn to cope with that. Like now, don't get me wrong, some don't ever learn to cope with it, and they end up doing crazy shit and stupid shit. But I would say guys are really good at living alone when we need to be, because we're the disposable race. We're the one, like 33% of us are sexless, not having, not having sex. So some of those guys are coping bad, and they're gonna end up doing stupid shit and all types of bad stuff. But some of them are actually going to just end up being good dudes that end up being alone. Like I have some friends that are extreme, like they're heavy gamer dudes I've known my whole life since I was like 12, 13 years old. And these guys are probably going to be virgins and or, have their 1 or 2 body count for the rest of their life. They're going to have to accept probably they're going to die alone. And some of them are extremely peaceful little beta dudes, like little peaceful beta guys that are never going to do anything wrong. They just want to they just want to come home from work every day, play their video games, and sit there and not have anything, and like it's a sad reality. But there's a lot of guys, like guys are really good at, basically what I'm saying is guys are really good at coping alone because a lot of guys are forced to. Whereas like women, y'all always have an option. If we go to the Forever Alone subreddit, which is like it's Forever Alone Women is what it's called, you'll see there's not that many women on there, and sometimes they'll post their pictures and stuff, and some of them aren't even that ugly. Like they're definitely going to get guys in the next few years. Like even women that are forever alone, I just don't think it's even close to the same as like the guys that are forever alone, if that makes sense.
Well, I think even on both sides, I think a lot of people, they go for what they can't attain.
Oh yeah, it's the ego thing, because the guy will think, even though he's a loser, he thinks he's a 9 or 10, and it's like, bro, you're a fucking loser. And it's like same with the girls. Like you could have a girl that's overweight and ugly as fuck, and she thinks she's a 10, or a 7 or something.
If all of us walk outside of this building right now, we're all going to see that one homeless couple.
Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy?
But you know why? Because they understand that even
they both ain't
at
shit.
Even at that low, you can find someone arguably on your level, or someone who fits the criteria of who you are as a person.
Right.
If you are a gamer, that's why I said I don't like pick-me's. Because if you're a gamer, don't go for a girl who doesn't like video games. Go for the one who likes video games. It's that simplistic.
Yeah.
Though pick-me is someone who is almost mimicking the qualities of the woman the man actually wants. If you want a housewife, there are so many women who are perfectly okay with being a housewife, not because they're a pick-me, but because that's what they actually want to do.
Yeah.
There are women
so go
out
find
there,
one of those. Don't force her into being a housewife.
You can find a woman who is okay with any fetish you can possibly come up with. You want your salad tossed? There are women out there that got their fork and knife. Like,
it's a man out there that wants.
And I say, and my thing is, I hope guys don't ever chase all that hedonism and shit, because that shit's what fucks them up the most, bro. Like sometimes you just need to chase the girl that does. It's not about what you want. Sometimes it's about what's best for you. Shit. Sometimes guys be choosing the shit that's worse for them just because they think it's what they want. $5 from Tony. Really, ladies, y'all gonna sit on the panel and say men are having more sex and at an age younger than the gatekeepers? Get the fuck out. Oh, no. He's talking about because we were talking about like who had sex earlier. That's what that was. What that was in context.
What she said was, statistically speaking, men lose their virginities earlier.
Yeah, I would love to see if that's true.
Not necessarily that men are having more sex than women.
Definitely statistically.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
But I can tell you right now, in my high school, I knew more men than I knew women that were having sex at age 14 and 15. I knew more men, and a lot of them were having sex with older women.
I remember very distinctly 2 guys, but they were like the 2 guys that went through puberty first. Like at 13 years old, like when we were in junior high, like they were the 2 guys that literally just already had balls on or hair on their balls at fucking like 12 years old. Like, their balls dropped. So it was just like, it was obvious, like, oh, so all the girls that were ready to start fucking, they instantly went to those 2 guys. They're the tallest ones. $2 from the Gray Pill, or $5 from the Gray Pill podcast. The Perfect Gentleman, seen it. Any relations to Andrew Tate? None.
Like Andrew Tate is arguably.
I've never seen the guy though.
Hate relationship with Andrew Tate, but who I'm talking about. Who I'm talking about is he's considered the king of the incels. Right now.
I need to go look him up. Yeah, why do you got against Andrew? What do you got against my boy?
What do I have against him?
No, she was laughing.
I have made a face.
Oh, fair.
What do you got against him? Is it the charges? Like what? I just want to know specifically if it's like one of the things, because even the charges, like they're probably about to get dropped. So it's like if that's one of the things that was fueling a lot of your hatred, it's like, well,
it's not even a hatred towards him. It's more so of.
Is he a misogynist?
He's a partial misogynist.
What?
I don't know
you got
him
2. You're about to have
personally.
2 masters, so you better be able to answer this question. What does misogyny mean?
It's a hatred towards women.
Thank you. God damn, you're the first one to answer the question correctly. You know how many times I've asked that and they never know?
Really?
Dude, it pisses me
But
off. Like,
people use it so frequently and they don't know what the definition
It's like
of it is.
narcissism.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's very good that you at least understand, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't think the guy hates women. He has a daughter. He has a wife.
Yeah,
He like
I definitely don't
like-
think he hates women. That's why I say he's like a partial misogynist. Because there are a lot of misogynists who have full families, they love them, but women who are outside of their family are the ones that they despise. And
so
they
like
hate.
so like he runs like like the camp business and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, would you say he hates all of his employees that do stuff like that? I think he loves a girl that makes $300 that day for him because
Yeah.
she's like, like that's the thing. Like, if he hated women, there would have to be a certain kind of women he hates. But it's like, well, he works with the worst kind of women and the best kind of women, so it's really hard to say that he hates women whenever he's financially supporting both kinds, you know, or like all different kinds of women, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
like what it really comes back to sometimes is like chauvinism, I think. And like a lot of people are just confused and think that a lot of guys are saying that they're better than women. But if you really watch a lot of his content, you learn about him, he's very much a complementarianism, just like me,
Mhm.
which is, we're not saying that we're better than women. It's just that I'm very good at making money, or I'm very good at kicking ass, or whatever the fuck he thinks he's really good at. And the woman in his life is amazing at nurturing and loving his child and taking care of the household or something. Like, it's just, you got to understand who's better at certain things. And I always say, only one person can drive the car when a decision's made. Like, there's
Right.
only one person driving. So like sometimes it's going to be a little chauvinistic because the guy's making the decision if he's the leader. But I would also argue y'all kind of want to be with a guy that's a leader. You want a guy that's taller, faster, stronger, usually a leader, like that's usually what you want. And I would say, like, for me and my girl's relationship, it's not like I'm the leader in everything. We go to the grocery store, I don't make a fucking decision. I just push the cart. Like, come on, like I don't decide what meat we're buying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
She grocery shopping.
yeah. But I would argue like Andrew is really complementarianism. Like, he really does love women, and he really does want women to just fill their role the best, just like how he thinks men should be filling the role the best way we can today.
Yeah, like if you definitely put it that way, I can definitely see him as being a complementarianism, a complementarianist, not an ism. But I don't know. I don't have a hatred towards him. I definitely don't. I see that he has his own perspective, and he goes about things a certain way.
No.
And the way that he treats his wife and his daughter in the public eye.
Yeah.
Seems very, loving and nurturing and so forth. I don't know what he does behind
And
closed
we
doors.
got to be careful about hyperbole too. So like a lot of the clips that went viral and stuff like that, it's all hyperbole. It's like, I'll give you a perfect example for this show. Okay, if I wanted to change the world, if I wanted to change women, if I wanted to change men, if I wanted to just make the biggest impact, sometimes you got to push out a lot of juice, a lot of sugary drink. Okay. And then, like, you want to put a little Robitussin in there. You want to put a little medicine in that shit. Yeah. You want to put a little bit in there. You got to heal them a little bit. But at the same time, for you to really reach the most people, sometimes you got to do 100% juice at first. And that's what he did. He pushed out a lot of sugary drink to get a lot of clicks and get a lot of people to look at him. A lot of hyperbole. Okay. And once he got up to that point where he got canceled, what did he do? He took it all back. He said, I'm sorry, guys. All that was hyperbole. It was all too extreme. I don't want men making a bad decision because of something that I said that was hyperbole.
Right.
And now he talks different. But now he can do that. He can push the medicine, the religion.
That's why I have a love-hate relationship with him, because the same way, like when we had that heated discussion not but a few minutes ago, right? If you're trying to teach the ideology of a true debate where I have like a talking point, then you respond, and vice versa. And of course, sometimes you're going to have like a little bit of an interjection, but there's still that respect factor there, right? So if I'm over talking you and then you're over talking me and I'm telling you, nah, Sergio, shut up. Like, that's not how, or vice versa, where you're telling like, no, I'm talking. But at the same time, that person was speaking first. A lot of the times what I have an issue with people in general is they push an ideology that they themselves can't necessarily always live up to. And what Andrew Tate did was, like you said, he pushed a rhetoric that he knew was going to make him go viral. If you watch his entire interviews, they're going to have the clips there. But if you continue watching, he kind of like eases off the gas a little bit on the craziness that he's speaking.
Or he'll break down the context of it.
But
or
the
problem
problem
nuance
is
in it.
he knew what he was doing. And now, because of his words, like there was a woman who came out in his defense because there was a video that came out of him basically slapping a woman. And she had to come out and say, no,
I don't think that's true at all.
It was, because she came out and said, this was our way of foreplay.
So he wasn't slapping her. What it was that was actually a video of him spanking her with a belt, and his friend was recording it because it was obviously like a funny, like sexual thing it was like a joke that was going on.
But that's what I'm saying. It went viral.
Yeah.
And the problem was the context was not there.
Yeah.
But everyone knew why it was put out there. It was to get the clicks. It was to get the views. It was to get his name out there, because
but no, so you gotta understand, he didn't. So when that happened was like 6 years ago, okay, and he never put it out. It was the it was the woke crowd. It was the woke crowd. It was the left leaning like media companies. It was all them that went and found that to try to rub his name in the dirt. Yeah, that wasn't him.
Go viral.
He didn't. Yes, he didn't try to make that go viral.
No, he put it out
like
there.
I'll give you an example. No, he didn't. Is what I'm saying. He tried to scrub that because it was something that made him look bad, even though it was a literal joke. If you watch the Vice thing, they show the audio of that and don't even show the actual video.
No,
because if you saw the video, you would know that it was a joke. But Vice, what did Vice do? They showed just the audio, so then they could make him look as bad as physically possible, okay?
The woman came out in his defense and said, no, this is not what happened. This is what happened.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying to you is, you can't put stuff out there. You can't say certain things and then not live up to those things, because now you have young boys that are looking at Andrew Tate and going, well, wait, you pushed this message. You put your Instagram shorts as this, and your YouTube shorts as that.
See, but you're so confused because that's not true. He never pushed. Once again, I'm about to say it again. He never pushed that video out there. He never tried to show guys hitting a girl, spanking her is right.
That's not what I said. What I said was, there was videos out, not just about that, but in general.
I'm saying in any of the hyperbole positions, though, like say like him saying that men, because here's one that really triggered everybody. Men are better drivers, okay? And that was a huge thing that caused a lot of debate, because you can look at insurance rates, you can look at all kinds of stuff that shows that women are better drivers, you know? But if we look at Formula One, if we look at the best racers in the world, it's all men. Once again, it's the bell curve thing where there's guys at the very top and there's a lot of really shitty guys, and women are better in the middle, you know. So it goes back to that debate. But that was one of those hyperbolic statements that he made that really pissed a lot of people, really made a lot of women mad. That was one of those things where he pushed the juice out just to get clicks and views, okay? Now, that might have made a bunch of 13-year-olds be like, women are bad drivers. Women shouldn't be driving anymore. And I would agree with you that that's damaging, but that's why he came out in that video and said, I'm not going to speak in this hyperbole like this anymore. But for the most part, that's not that bad. Like,
but that's
just saying, like, that's not even that bad of a,
is because the love that I have for Andrew Tate is that he has told men, look, if you don't
he is making men better.
Yeah, if you don't like how you look, go to the gym, fix it. If you don't like your bank account, work harder.
Yeah.
If you work 8 hours a day and your bank account does not look the way you want it to, well, you know what? Work 12 hours a day, make the overtime, and what we say in the military, embrace the suck, and do what you need to do to make your bank account become bigger, because I do feel like society has feminized men quite a bit.
Yeah, and we got to push back on
it. But at the same time, if there's a way to push that message where it's not damaging, and you have the youth that are more into social media than someone of our age bracket who can look at hyperbole and decipher that, but you can't decipher that as a 12 and 13-year-old. So you got these kids in junior high school and high school that are taking his YouTube shorts, a lot like how you make your YouTube shorts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you only take a 3-minute snippet of a 15-minute conversation, and it's the most, like, if you cut our argument that we had, somebody's going to take that and go, oh, Sergio is
like they could make it sound
women.
like, well, they can make it sound like, if you clip it correctly, you can make it sound really bad. But this is the craziest part about what you're bringing up, okay? The worst clips you've seen of him, though, wasn't him pushing it out. Like, it wasn't him clipping it up that way and then pushing it out. The worst clips that you saw was the left media, the fucking woke people that hated him. Those were the people that were clipping it very bad and putting out horrible shit, horrible hyperbolic statements that weren't ever originally said. So that's the big issue today, is actually that let's stop judging this guy based off these clips that were literally made to make him look bad, and he never pushed those out. Now, did he go on an interview 3 years ago and have a long talk about women and men and detailing like those things in that hyperbolic statement that got edited and pieced together that bad? Yes, he did do that whole thing, but that's not what he truly said. It was taken out of context. We got to stop judging people based off of just clips, period. Like, that's just the end of the game. Like, right there, like, if there's anything you disagree with the guy on just because of clip, it shouldn't be based off that. You need to go back to? Oh. Let me read the next one. $20 for Moral for All. Men are incapable of loneliness. In every season of the show alone, though the men usually win, the women quit the show because they can't find food. Men usually quit the show because they are lonely. I didn't know that. Quit the show
Naked and
because
Afraid?
I've never seen that show. I really want to check it out now that you brought that up, Morel. That's crazy.
He's talking about first of all, he's talking about a show.
Yeah.
And a lot
Hey,
like,
those shows are still pretty true though.
No, but a lot like Naked and Afraid, right? Those shows have guidelines and rules that they have to follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about throwing a guy out there in a survivalist area, in a survivalist environment. If he knows what he's doing, he's going to survive. Most men, arguably, depending on their background, are taught at least how to maybe like
some Boy Scout shit.
Gotta fish, you know.
I never got taught how to go to fish.
I did, but you know what
I
I'm
learned
saying
how
is
to
like
gut a deer,
a
though.
lot of countrymen,
Clean
from
a
what
deer.
I've learned, a lot of countrymen, specifically in the South, they have learned how to fish to an extent. They may know how to hunt. They know maybe like which snakes are poisonous and which snakes aren't, because in the South you have to deal with all kinds of snakes.
Hey, I know how to forage.
But that's what I'm
That's
saying.
the rare
So
thing,
if
though.
you were to ask your modern day woman which berries are poisonous, they can't tell you. They wouldn't know how to farm. They wouldn't know how to cultivate the way that women used to back in the day. So yeah, if you throw a man in a survivalist area where women are told to be more, demure and soft, if I go out and I get a fish right now and I scale it and gut it, there are going to be men out there that are like, oh, she's so masculine, she knows how to fish. But then you put me on a show like that and then you tell me that, I don't know how to survive. Duh, you don't give me the proper tools to survive.
Well, I mean, men are just better at surviving, though.
What
Like,
do you mean
come
by
on.
tools?
so,
Because
Like it's even tools though. Like on those shows, I'm pretty sure they give the men and the women the same
yeah,
tools.
but I
Yeah,
bet you if you were to ask him what goes in the washer, he wouldn't be able to tell you.
Why not?
a washer, you just put clothes in the washer and put the damn
what
soap
you
in there and
mean?
the
Yeah.
washer.
Nope.
No, we just go in the river and we just clean that shit off. Like, what you mean, right?
Nope.
Here, what's the next one, bro? $10 from Tony Esquire again. Thank you so much, Tony. Alone by way of survival and playing the field as a single person. That's what I meant. Get out of your feelings. Lolo Jones, Vivica A. Fox, and Oprah have been seen recently crying about being single. Ooh, that's crazy. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, what I don't have the stat, but fuck, what is the one where like shows like the most depressed demographic? I can't remember what the fuck it is, but it's like over 45 single women is like the most depressed demographic right now, or the most taking antidepressants.
Over 45 and single.
It's over 45 and single. Yeah. What's the next? What was the next one? $10 from Tony Esquire. Stop it with that pick me nonsense, because guys, men are building themselves up to get picked by women. We accept the mate searching rules. Don't be mad because the feminine women are outplaying you.
Again, I'm in a relationship. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that. But
Yeah, well, yeah, she's in a relationship, but yeah, like the pick me's, like they're like that's. I feel like they're just playing the game really smart. Like they're like, you know what? I understand the man's the prize. I'm not playing no bullshit games. I'm just gonna fucking try. Now, don't get me wrong. Can she fuck up and like fuck the wrong dude like 4 or 5 times before she finds the right one because she's such a pick me? I think so. Like I think that pick me's can fuck up. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say a girl that's a pick me is just she's gonna just get the perfect guy because she's a pick me. Because no, you can definitely pick me the wrong dudes over and over and over again. So I like there is negatives to being a pick me, but I think there's way more positives than there are negatives.
I just feel like if you are someone who is, there's nothing wrong with finding someone who is interested in your interests.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's
But hold on. Now, so that's a good point that you bring up. All right, but that's a good point for women, and I'll explain to you why. Because for guys, we don't have as many choices as y'all. Like for you, y'all men come to you, men chase you. Okay, so for guys, we don't sit here and come up with all these things that we want out of our future woman or anything like that. We're just lucky to get one most of the time. For a normal guy, they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, I hope I can get a girl that's into anime. I hope I can get a girl that's into video games. It's not like that. Like they're kind of just lucky to just get a good normal girl. Like, and hopefully they can watch TV together. They have something in common, you know. But for the most part, like I agree with you that if you're a woman, like you're I feel like you're kind of projecting, because if I was you, I would say the same shit. I would be super fucking like, yeah, I'm not gonna pick this dude because he doesn't watch this and I like to watch it, or he doesn't do this and I like to do. I like to hike and he doesn't. So, but for a guy, man, sometimes fuck, like you better learn how to hike, because shit, like that's the only bitch you're gonna see for the next year.
but that's actually what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, my boyfriend and I, we do not share all of the same interests.
Mhm.
Like I went to Florida, which is where he's from. I went to Clearwaters and I got to swim with some manatees, right? You could not pay that man enough money to get into the water with an animal that is 6 times bigger than him.
Mm-hmm.
But they're called sea mermaids, or they're called like little sea cows. I think
Yeah,
they're the
sea
cutest
cows,
thing in
yeah.
the world. You cannot get him in there. But you know what he would do? He would go with me and he would drop me off, or he may sit on the side and in the boat and watch me. He will not get in the water.
Mhm.
I'm not going to leave him because he doesn't want to get in the water with me.
Yeah.
And he likes The Mandalorian. I stopped watching Star Wars after episode 3 came out. Why? Because I just can't keep up with it. Rogue One, I think, was the very last Star Wars movie I watched.
Yeah.
I am not going to sit down and watch season 3 of The Mandalorian with him because I don't know what the hell I'm watching.
Yeah.
But you know what I am going to do? Like, he has a man cave, right? So I'm going to sit in that room with him while he's watching The Mandalorian, and I'm going to watch my true crime.
Yeah.
He doesn't like watching true crime.
Yeah.
But like you said, with you and your girlfriend, are you guys always together? No.
No.
You guys are in the same house.
Yeah.
But you guys don't have all of the same interests. And you know what? That's fine. It's okay. And why pick-me's bother me, which is why they're called pick-me's, is because they will purposefully change who they are at their basis to become.
No.
Hold on.
They were called pick-me's because to shame them.
So what is that? It's a shame. It's a shaming
They're called
tactic. And like the
pick-me's to
thing is,
shame.
like, what if she's just always been the type of woman that wants to take care of her
Look,
man? Like,
then
why?
She's
Like,
not
she's
a
not.
pick-me.
But a lot of girls. But if we look at how women call women pick-me's today, if a woman is just saying all the right things to her man, even though she was taught to be that woman by her mother or whatever, because her mother was an example of the same type of woman that did whatever for her husband or her father, we would
That's
call
a
her a
pick-me.
pick-me. Well, that's messed up because all she's doing is, but you just said
No,
that
that's not-
she's a pick-me because she's changing, because she's doing something because to please the man, because she's changing herself. So I'm saying that she didn't change herself. This is what she saw her mother do, and this is what she was do now.
That's what a
That's not
pick-me is. She was taught to be a pick-me.
okay, and a pick-me is a good thing then because her mother was a great wife and
So this
and
That
mother.
doesn't make you great because you
Trust me, a woman that looks up to her man and constantly sees the man as the prize, that is a good. She's
the
going to be
woman is the
happier.
prize, though.
No, it's
the
not.
woman is supposed to be the
Absolutely
prize.
not.
I think they're
Not even
the prize
close.
to each other.
No,
But
not
I'm
even
saying-
close.
What I'm
What?
saying is, at the end of the day,
Bro.
what I'm saying about, and yes, pick-me's are essentially a shaming characteristic of a woman, but so's a simp.
So, but like,
A simp
yeah,
is
yeah,
a-
no, and that's why I call guys simp. It's a derogatory. Yes, I
Right.
think simping is bad. Just
But
like,
hear me
it's
out.
not the same though.
What I'm saying specifically with legit pick-me's, not women, because that's like saying if you're raised in a Christian household and you're raised to date Christian men, then it makes you a pick-me if you date a Christian man.
I understand the type of women that you're describing, and I'm saying that that's pretty actually rare. Like the only time a girl starts acting like that is because she's fucking alpha and she's trying to do whatever it takes to lock him
To
down.
please him.
Yes. And
That's
guess
a
what?
pick-me.
And guess what though? Like that's
and that's not good.
look, the bottom line is if she gets a relationship, she won the game. If she gets a ring on her finger, she won the game. Here, you just brought up a second ago, and just to bring it back just really quick, I just wanted you to understand, guys can't afford to pick. You do though. Women have can afford the ability to pick and choose what traits you want in a guy. Guys don't. So bottom line, that's all I wanted you to understand. Though.
That's the difference between simp and simp and pick me.
Okay.
Because pick me's get picked, simps do not get picked.
Yeah.
No,
Here, hold on. I just want. I got. So you brought up like the prize thing, okay? You need to understand, women are not even close to the fucking prize. And if you have that mentality in your head, you are so fucked over the next decade. You're gonna end up with a beta cuck simp, and you're gonna hate him after 6 months when your coochie doesn't tingle anymore. I'm dead ass. I'm serious. Okay.
So are you saying
the guys
men
are the prize. Yes, and I'll prove to you why.
Hell no.
Here, hold on. Let me. Oh, hell no. Here, hold on. Let me prove it to you. Who puts the ring on your finger?
The man.
Okay. Who's the gatekeeper of relationships?
Who?
The man. Who's the gatekeeper of sex?
Who?
You.
How?
I can't have sex with you unless you tell me I'm allowed to, or else it's great.
Well, how's the man the gatekeeper of a relationship?
Because you can't make him take you seriously. How many guys have you wanted to be in a relationship with, and he's just like, nope, I don't want a relationship.
A man can't make a woman take him seriously either.
The man that you want, you're chasing a relationship with him. Don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of simp losers that want a relationship with you, but they're not the guy that you want. The guy that you want, you have to fight for a relationship with. Like that, like he's the prize. Okay. If we had an island with 100 men and an island with 100 women, the one with 100 men had one woman. The one with 100 women had one man. Which island in 10 years is going to have a higher population?
The one with all the women.
Yeah. So who creates more life, the man or the woman?
The woman.
No,
The
the
man.
one man creates more life. So men actually are what is a prize in society today? What do women have to act like for us to be successful? For society to be blooming? y'all have to act masculine. Y'all have to go and pick up jobs and do things. Masculinity is a prize. It is something that is needed at all times. Okay? So when you find a masculine man, he is the prize. What is there more of? Is there more beautiful women or more successful men? There's way more beautiful women than successful men. So once again, because of supply and demand, the man is the prize. And I'm going to tell you, most men aren't the prize. Okay? I'm going to tell you, most of these guys out here, these simp, beta, cuck losers, they ain't the prize. They ain't. Most guys aren't the prize. But the few guys that you want, or the few guys that are the prize, they're the fucking prize, okay? You got to fight to have them. And having that mentality of that, like, you're the shit and stuff like that, you can have that. But don't call me in 5 years when you're like, oh, you're right, this fucking simp beta fucking cuck loser. I thought that I was the prize and he treated me like I was the prize and it was so good.
I think we have.
No, I'm telling you,
to
you don't want to.
agree
You don't want to be treated like the
disagree
prize. You
on
don't want to
this.
be treated like the prize. I'm telling you,
I
you want a
disagree.
relationship where you're pursuing the guy. Because if you're in a relationship where he's always chasing you, it's annoying. You don't like a guy that's always messaging you. You don't like a guy that's always sucking up to you. Like, he needs to always be on his purpose, on his
true.
shit.
That's
Like-
true, but that doesn't make him the prize. I believe it should be 50-50 because I'd be damn if I chase a man.
I'm just telling you,
No,
be
I can
careful
tell
with
you
that
from
mentality.
experience. If I were to bring my boyfriend up here right now, you met him.
Yeah.
If I were to bring him up here right now, he would tell you that we both consider each other a prize.
And you can have that mentality. Like, I'm not saying that like people can't have that mentality and have a successful
but
relationship.
I
You
didn't,
totally
I didn't
can.
chase him and he didn't chase me. We came together.
It's 50-50.
So I don't see how this is physically
wait.
possible.
I
But
have
every relationship, one person's walking into the other one's frame. That's a fact, okay? And whoever's walking into the other one's frame is walking into the prize, okay? Like, so it might be just 1%, but he's the prize by 1%, okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I would argue I walked into his frame
Yeah.
because I changed my mindset towards certain things. However, like I said, my dad is definitely by all statements a traditional alpha male. But he will tell you that he considers his wife to be the prize and his wife considers to be him the prize. And the reason why is because without his wife, there is no home. And without him, there is no stability. So that's why sometimes, yes, is a man the prize? Absolutely. But so is the woman if you find the right woman and if you find the right man. We're both prizes to each other. Now, if you walk into a man's frame knowing he is the prize and he does not then in turn reciprocate that feeling towards you, then you're not being treasured the way that you should be because that man should see you as a prize. Now, you're right.
No, stop all that. Because women become a prize at 18 years old. That virginity, that pee they got between their legs, that automatically makes them a prize.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Are you in a relationship?
No, I'm not.
All right, Sergio, you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so that right there just proves my point. You agree with me. Do you think that your girlfriend is a prize?
No, I'm the prize.
That's not no. Do you think she is a prize to you?
She is way above all other women, but as far as like who is more the prize, I am the prize. 1,000%.
I'm not asking you to compare. I'm asking you your personal opinion towards your girlfriend.
Mhm.
If somebody were to say, do you think that your woman is a prize? Do you think she's a queen? Do you think she is the apple of your eye, that she is the diamond in your ring?
Yeah, but if we
Would
compare,
you- but I'm saying,
yeah.
not
She
comparing.
she is a beautiful, amazing prize present. Yes, she
for
is all
you,
those things.
right? And I guarantee
She
if
is
I
for
were-
a lot of guys.
No,
Like,
I'm
no,
saying
she
for
would be that
you.
for most men. Yeah.
She is a prize for you, and I guarantee if I were to ask her the same thing about you, she would say you are the prize. But that is a healthy relationship.
But there's a new question to ask after that. There's always the question after that of who is more the prize, and that there's nuance to things. We can ask the question of is one of you more the prize than the
I
other?
feel like if
And
it's
I
a-
will, and I can honestly say I am more the prize. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's just y'all really don't understand how rare it is to have successful good men compared to beautiful women. If me and my girl broke up today, I'm telling you, it's going to be way easier for me to replace her with another beautiful woman that does the same things as her than it will be for her to replace me with a more high value guy. It's extremely hard. So because of that, I am the prize. It's just very simple.
I don't feel,
And I don't
feel
think
like it
most men
depends
are the
on
prize.
Type of women you date.
Huh?
I feel like it depends on the type of women you date.
Well, so you're saying that there's some women that are higher value, correct?
Correct.
Okay, what makes a high value woman a high value woman?
A lot of things that we talked about today. One, body count, depending on how they value themselves.
So if
how
like
they,
she's a virgin or something, or 2 bodies or something, then she would be higher value, you would say?
how they value themselves.
And like how well they take care of their men too and
A
stuff?
lot of women don't value themselves as much. So yeah, their body count is a lot higher than a woman who values herself more and knows her self-worth more. So if you
Well, I would say that there's no such thing as a high value woman. The only time there's a high value woman is there's a high value man. Because for a woman to be considered high value, we were talking about this in there earlier. For a man to not be depressed at 50, 60 years old, we need to create things. Okay? That's what a man does. We create things in this world. Women create life. Okay? So when we look at what we're both built to do and what we're both meant to do, oh shit, wait, what was I going back to? I totally lost track of that. Trying to bring it back.
Prize.
Oh yeah. So because of that, because y'all create life and we create things. Oh dude, I still don't know where the fuck I'm at. No, I'm still going on it. No, I can't even remember.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, go.
I don't disagree with the fact that you can argue men are more valuable than women in the sense that just population wise, there are more women than men, right? So that means that
there's only 3% more women than men.
That's still more.
It's very small.
It's
not enough for you to make a big difference.
No, I'm saying you can cherry pick, but at the end of the day, there are more. Just like I said, like going back to the poverty thing.
You know that a girl on my show the other day thought that there was 20% women for 80% men.
What? No,
yeah, no, but I'm just saying there's a lot of crazy thoughts when it comes to the whole population difference.
No, because you can go online right now and you can find any article that fits your rhetoric. Like it's very easy to do. It doesn't make it factual. But what I'm saying is
that girl was just stupid. That wasn't true at all. She was just stupid.
What I'm saying is like at the end of the day, women do population wise, no matter how, teeth picking you want to get, we do outnumber men, right? So that does mean that men are more valuable because there's.
I'm so tired of hearing that. It really bothers me when women bring up the whole "there's more of us" thing. It's 3%, okay? It's not. And then if you want to look at like who's having sex and stuff, it doesn't matter at all. Like there's way more women fucking around, so it doesn't even matter at the end of the day.
But there's no point in arguing because there's nothing to argue right now. I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is based on the population. Whether the 3%. Population, whether that gets you like grinds your gears or not, what I'm saying is that in and of itself makes men more valuable because there's less of them.
She agreeing with you right now, and you still.
Well, no, it's a topic that really bothers me because you have no idea how many women have came on this panel and thought that their issues in their dating life is because of a population issue. Because they think that there's 20% women for 80% men.
Right, but that's where
that's the problem. I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just expressing to y'all how ignorant some people are.
That we're on right
now. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just expressing to you how ignorant some people are, and just bringing up even a 3% difference though. It's annoying to even hear a 3% difference. Like it's annoying because that's not a big enough difference for it to make it harder in any of these scales at all.
No,
it's 53% to 47%.
It's not a big difference. One of those people, if I'm gonna state something, I have to have some kind of factual backing for it. So I'm just using that as my factual backing to say that yes, men are. If you want to put it like that low, then yes, men are more valuable because there are less of you, and because there are less of you, there's even less men within that population. That women that actually care about being.
Oh, now I remember what I was talking about. Okay, so like the value thing. Okay, so we were talking about men create life, or you create life, men create things. Okay, so your value is really deprived based off of you creating life. How do you get to create life? It comes from you having a man for you to be able to create that life. He's a good provider, protector, whatever it is. For you to be able to create the life that you were meant to do, that all women on this planet were meant to do. You need a man. You need one. So that's why I always say a high value woman is directly tied to a high value man.
Vice versa.
Yeah, but the high value man, once again, if I broke up with my girlfriend right now, it's easier for me to replace a beautiful girl than it is for her to replace a high value man because of supply and demand.
You can replace her with another beautiful girl, but can you replace her with a beautiful girl with the same credentials that she has?
Because of the supply and demand issues, yes. I've had multiple relationships. I've had multiple relationships like this with my girl where I was able to have the leverage that I have.
And that's why I say it depends on the type of woman that you date. How much does she value herself? Yeah, you could go. It's a lot of bitches out here.
It's not about valuing yourself, though. It's about, are you able to devote to someone else? I teach guys, when I coach men, this makes a lot of women mad, but I tell them to only date women under 25. And the reason why is because usually the women that are older, I know, usually the women that are older have given their lives to their job. They have given their devotion, their love to their job instead of their men. And they can't. They're so it's been such a habit to give their love and devotion to their job, they can't even give it to their men anymore. Okay, so like that's fine if you want to have these mentalities, but it's all based off of your age. If you get to a certain point where you can't love somebody the same anymore because you've gone through so much trauma or you've gone through so much bad stuff, then it's not going to work.
I would argue my mentality flipped actually when I was younger.
Well, it's like what Stephen Speaks teaches. You can totally fix your trauma. Like there's women that are 35 that go through his programs and learn how to become good women. Like I'm not saying that a woman can't get past her trauma at some age.
But no, what
it's
I'm
just
saying
harder.
is, as a younger woman, arguably I had the mentality of like, no, I'm young. You know, I don't think I'm like the most beautiful girl walking. You know, but I have value to myself. I think I'm not, you know, a donkey out here. You know, I can pick up guys. It's not that difficult for me. However, at that age, it was like, well, what am like essentially the Lori Harvey thing. Why am I settling when I have all these other different options out here? And the older I got, it had nothing to do with anything other than realizing like that mentality wasn't going to get me anywhere. So I had to really take a step back and say, you know what? No, in order to find a high value man, you have to value men. And also, after find a high value man, value that man, but also make sure that that man values me as well. I'm not saying that he has to think that I'm more of a prize than him, but what I'm saying is I should feel like a prize to him because I bring something to him.
Yeah, and it's really easy to like find those type of guys. Yeah, sorry, we're about to close it up in just a second. But yeah, it's really easy. I would say it's actually really easy to find those type of guys when you just look for what you just said, him giving it back. It's just sometimes you end up chasing the guy that's not giving it all back. Let me read that super chats really quick. Was there another one that I missed too on the start? I could have swore there was a couple. Oh no, yeah,
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah, you're right. $5 for more for all. High value woman equals low body count, physically fit, and young. Yeah, that's a good one. These traits are common, and a new girl enters the market every day. That is very true. I get older, and they stay the same age. $10 from Tony Esquire. Stop it with that pick me nonsense because guys, men are building themselves up to get picked by women. We accept the mate searching rules. Don't be mad because feminine women are outplaying you. Yeah, they are pretty feminine. Did we already read that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go to the next one, bro.
No, that's it.
Wait, no, there's totally another one out there. Go to the live, click the live button. I think sometimes the star thing, the auto star doesn't work all the time. Oh no.
That one at this point, Sergio.
Yeah, that one right there. Did we already? Yeah, we did. Wait, no. At this point, Sergio, or $10 from Tony Esquire. Thank you, bro. At this point, Sergio, if these ladies argue that the sky is red, just agree with them, fam. Black women will never lose an argument. I'm black, and a pick-me model equals less headaches.
But see, that's the thing. I was just telling her that if you were to read some of the chats that come in there, it's clear as day that they don't actually listen to what we're saying because I have agreed with you a multitude of times.
Yeah.
And according to that,
well, so you gotta understand, a lot of these guys are just men in general. We just want a woman that doesn't argue with us about anything. And I know that sounds super pick-me-ish and super like suck up and stuff, but they just want like a lot of guys just want to be able to like say these. They want to see me on the show say these facts to y'all, and y'all just be like, damn, that's good.
Not agree with you.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, no. Tony, it's never gonna happen. You're right, bro. It just doesn't work that way, man. This is the world.
But see, here's the catch to this. So I'm mixed, right? Yeah. But I'm just gonna talk about the fact that he specifically put black women on there.
Yeah.
There is a rhetoric that women, especially black women, are like insufferable. Like you can't do anything with them, right? But when you talk about other races of women, if you have a Latina woman, like someone who looks traditionally Latin, like your girlfriend, like no one necessarily looks at me and automatically assumes I'm Hispanic, but I am.
True, yeah.
So you can have someone, if I was lighter, or at least if I spoke Spanish, right? Yeah. I would be able to get away with so much more attitude than just who I am on the outside. Because my mother's from
They say it's spicy if you're Mexican. Correct. And you do it, right?
And then you have your Asian women, which unfortunately for them, because it's not true at all, their stigma is that they're very soft and demure and they're quiet and stuff, they just don't. I know so many very Asian women that will rip your throat out.
Well, yeah, American ones are completely different.
I'm talking about.
I lost my virginity to an Asian girl.
Asian women from Asia, like those women do not play.
Yeah.
because that's just not. Yeah, they are raised to respect their families and their households, but that doesn't make them all of a sudden this meek and tiny and mouse-like figure. That's not true.
Yeah.
So a lot of the men that have these opinions,
Stereotypes.
right?
Mhm.
If we were any other race than black, they would not have the same feelings towards it. They'd be like, "Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Lily, she has a head on her shoulders."
Oh yeah, it's
Like-
definitely.
I was saying, 'cause
Well,
I was about to say, I'm definitely mixed
It's
too.
definitely
so,
a thing. It's definitely a thing, but like you gotta like I've never dated a black woman, so I never talk about these things because I don't have the experience to speak on it. Usually like Donnie, like my producer, he's black, so he's dated black women. You know, I can ask Bassett, is any of this true? Like, is dating black women different than the other races? Like,
Very-
I don't know because I've never done it.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's facts. Very factual.
So it's not just
What's
something. It's
factual?
not just a stereotype.
What's factual?
With black women, it's mostly like they'll be like very masculine. Yeah.
But see, what
I see
makes-
you. I see you looking around.
Well,
I mean,
because I can't look at you, so it's a little hard.
You're behind
'cause
closed doors.
Exactly, I have nothing to look at because I usually when I talk to people, I look.
But
at their
yeah, it's
face.
usually the masculine thing. It's like, but I can play devil's advocate for him a little bit. So the thing is we know in the black community that there's more trauma. We know that there's generational trauma that has gone on for fucking decades. Okay, there's no avoiding it. It's a very sad reality of the world. It sucks. But because of that, or because of that generational trauma, not everybody has broken out of it. There's a lot of black women that have been raised by single mothers or just hard households, and they go and date somebody like Bassett, and then it makes him think that all black women are like this. Like this one black woman who still has her generational trauma coming through her, and now he thinks maybe all black women are masculine and argumentative and all these things, but really it was just the ones that he happened to date.
Because I was
But,
gonna say, if she has her double, she's about to get her double masters, right? And she's going into a career field where you would argue that's very masculine because she's gonna be making a lot of money, and she tends to make more money than the men that she dates, right?
Mhm.
Or at least the man that she dated. What is so different from her compared to a white woman with the exact same credentials, who has the same fire and the same ideologies, who may not
it's just about how
Pearl.
you're raised. Like it's all about how you're
Pearl
raised.
is a great example. She is a white woman who is extremely outspoken. Now, granted, she leans more towards, I guess you could call it the right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Pearl will cut you off in a heartbeat. You could be mid sentence and she'll
Yeah,
cut you
she's
off.
masculine and she's
Right.
No
argumentative.
tact
Yeah,
whatsoever.
But
yeah.
men will look at her and they, like I said,
And
they'll
say that she's feminine and stuff.
she's feminine.
And
She's
she
for,
stands firm on what
she's
she
for the
believes
men.
in.
She's 10 toes down. She's this and she's that. But then you look at
A
us,
black woman doing
and
the
all
same
of a
thing.
sudden
and
we're just flat out argumentative, and you can't get through to us.
Yeah, and so like I would say that Pearl is like that is a bias that people should not have. Yeah, because I would say that she's just as argumentative and all that stuff.
And I think she's one of those people I respect because she has her viewpoints and she stands on her viewpoints.
It
You
really
can't get
comes
her
down
back
to like
down on
it
those.
really comes down to the conditional femininity thing. And I would just argue that like say a white woman raised in a household that has no generational trauma, maybe upper middle class, like very never worried about or anything like that. Like those women, like what they saw their mother and father go, their arguments or like how healthy their relationship was and stuff. It's just completely different than a family that was in poverty and also maybe had a lot of trauma going on or a breakup in the household, divorce or maybe not even a marriage or something, like that's all it is. And I'm not like Bassett might like we could sometimes point at him and say, yo, you were just choosing the shitty women, or maybe you were just fucking with shitty black women that were super, maybe they have cluster B disorders or something, and like you just had like a bad bad
I feel
people
like
in a row.
what they call ghetto for black women is no different from white women. They just call it something different.
Yeah.
Because you have these women, especially white women from the South, they're raised by a lot of men. They're raised, like I said, they'll go out there and they'll do farm work.
Yeah, they can be masculine women,
right?
yeah.
But they're not looked at it that way.
Yeah, and I completely agree with y'all. I would definitely say that like y'all get the most derogatory language and like bullshit thrown at you for sure. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like there's no such thing as generational trauma. I'm not going to sit here and act like there's not arguments going on in these households and there's not all types of crazy disrespect going on both ways. And we know what happens when the woman doesn't respect the man. And like I don't even expect y'all to respect the man that doesn't make more than you. It's really once again the powers that be's fault. Like like black women, y'all were encouraged to leave the men, go get food stamps. Like we'll give you food stamps. We'll give you fucking a place to live. Like women have been incentivized to destroy relationships. Okay, and like and who got the shit end of it? It was mostly the black community, sadly. And like like those are the people that got hit with it the hardest. What? Yeah, go ahead. What do you think?
I was just waiting to talk. So in regards to his comment in regards to black women, yes, I'm getting a second degree. However, because I don't want to change this over to a racial thing, but because my skin color is darker than the African Anglo-Saxon woman, it's going to be looked at as different. It's going to be looked at as I'm arguing with someone. When in all honesty, majority of my argumentative side of me comes from the schooling that I've had. I've been in debate. I've been in, all of these different clusters of people who require me to argue with them or to at least have those creative discussions. But if someone talks to me and I'm very passionate about what I'm saying, it's literally going to look like, oh, she's just upset or she's mad or she's being that, what's the Tyler Perry movie? Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yeah.
And yes, it shouldn't look that way. However, in society, black people as an entire race have been looked at that way because that's how we were when they transferred us over on boats and whatnot. However, I'm not completely black. We not even gonna say I have locks and all that stuff, but let my actual hair be out and you're gonna see curls going down my back. But at the same point in time, my abuelita was literally that's who taught me what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to cook, how I'm supposed to treat who I'm supposed to be like. Then I have my black side, I have my white side. But people don't look at it that way because they're only looking at the skin color. And when it comes to women, yes, men have two strikes against them. They're black and they're men.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to women, we're females, we're black, and then we're also
masculine,
a little masculine, emotional at that. So you add those in together, and then people look at it as, oh, well, they shouldn't act this way, or because of how they were raised or whatnot. Because I could have came from a very wealthy background and still be classified as the angry black woman.
Yeah,
because of who I am.
Yeah, it's really simple though. It's really, really simple. Guys like three things: silence, sex, and sandwiches. Okay, so it goes back.
Why the sandwiches?
It goes back to the silence thing though.
Sandwiches part.
But like.
Really?
Yeah, but
Oh, wow.
but the silence thing is a really big deal to us. So like I would say being an intelligent woman is a great thing. Like I think there's certain guys that would fucking love your intelligence and be able to have the conversations that you can have and stuff, and especially being passionate but not taking it too far and stuff like that. This is all very like shows emotional intelligence like crazy, very good signs. The thing is like I think that most guys would like it. But there's a certain caliber of guy that's like doing so good, he doesn't want to hear any of it at all. And it's like, but I would say most fucking 90% of guys, I don't think they're gonna care at all. I would say most guys don't. But there's a certain caliber though, like I'm saying, and they want the sex, silence, and sandwiches. Like they just don't want to be fucking bothered at all. What is that the next one?
Yeah.
$10 from Morel for all. Women have to admire a man to love him. Men have to be the leader in the relationship. Men have to be the provider and protector. Those characteristics are rare. Nothing about a woman is rare. Yes, those characteristics are rare to find today. And if beauty is what most men want, yeah, it's not hard to find. But a lot of guys will say that they don't want just beauty. They want a girl to go 50-50 with them today.
And see, that's why like men like that bother me.
The 50-50 guys?
No. What he just said, nothing about a woman is rare. Which is not true because you, like I said, you've said it yourself, and this guy clearly watches your show. You can't say that nothing about a woman is rare. Where a lot of women aren't virgins anymore. Okay, cultures change, modern times change.
I'd say she's rare if she's a virgin for sure.
No, yeah, but I'm saying in modern times right now, like it is very custom, right, for both men and women by the age of say 21 to not be virgins anymore, right? Okay, cool. Fast forward. I think if you're the kind of women that people, tear down, like the Instagram models, arguably, women who only use their beauty and have absolutely nothing behind it, right? The 18-year-old who can get on a yacht.
Yeah.
What does she know? She knows nothing other than the fact that she's pretty.
Yeah.
Can she hold a conversation? Can she do anything for you? Can she maintain your household? So you can't say nothing about a woman is rare because if you find a woman who is able to,
do all those things, then she's rare.
bask in her femininity like a lot of men want, is able to give you that silent sex and sandwiches without complaining, because that's who she is as a person. If she's able to support you financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and all those other ways, if she's able to listen to your business ideas and actually provide educational input on what you want to do, then I would consider that to be a rarity right now, because more women are wanting to go out and party and enjoy themselves and enjoy how they look, and they're very vain now. So it is a little more rare to find a woman who's not like that. And I would argue,
I will give you, it's hard. It's rare to find a good girl. Yes, I will agree with you on that. Yeah,
that's something like things like that. The only reason, like how the 3% makes your teeth hurt, stuff like that makes my teeth hurt. Because
absolutely.
Like listening to men that join these podcasts, a lot of them have absolutely nothing to actually say other than whatever goes against what I just said.
Yeah, or they use AWOL a lot, which is all women are like that. AWOL, AWALT, and like so that's like the big, and that's one of the big things that I push back against on them a lot. Like I'm one of the few guys in this entire space on YouTube that pushes back on the all women are sluts thing. I'm one of the very few that's like, no, it's where y'all go. No, it's because y'all are seeking these type of women, and that's why they're all sluts. So I'm one of the very few that says that, but most guys do live by the all women are this
and there was a comment on there that was like, I'm going to regret my divorce. I have never been happier, because I let go of a man who I thought originally was high value.
He wasn't the man,
And I found an actual man of high value. And I would not have been able to do that if essentially I turned into a woman who solely wanted to keep that man and was willing to do whatever it took to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, you got really lucky that you're able to do that. Honestly, it's very. I feel like it's really hard to find another really good dude, like 2 in a row. Or how many years? Like how many years were you single before you found the second one?
Honestly, I was only single for like 7 months.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to do it back to back. So good job. $5 from Morel for all. High value woman equals low body count, physically fit. Or wait, did we already read that one?
Yeah, we read that.
Yeah, we already read that one, bro. Is that all of them then?
That's it.
Here, click the chat really quick just so I can make sure. Let me see what the live chat says. Oh yeah, there's definitely one from Julian. Scroll up a little bit more, just in case. Yeah. Just the Julian one then. Julian, thank you for the 20, bro. I appreciate that, Julian Throne. Read my messages to these ladies. Please scroll up and click his messages really, really quick. Go to Julian's.
He's got a lot of them.
Just really quick, I'm going to read them all through really quick. Julian said, in the U.S., the group of women that files for divorce the most, black women. The group of women that has many single moms, black women. The group of women that has many teen pregnancies, black women. All right, what's the next one? He said, yes, again, the group of women that, he copy and pasted all this from Google. Yes, again, the group of women that aborts the most, yes. Again, the group of women that has HIV and other STDs, yes. The group of women that is the most obese, yes, again. The group of women that is least desired for marriage. The group of women that is mostly on OnlyFans. The group of women whose kids end up in jail. I would love to. I didn't know that there was a study on OnlyFans for the black women being the most. That's crazy. A group of women which endangers itself the most with aesthetic surgeries, e.g., BBLs. Yes, again, the group of women that are always doing dumb explicit shit in public. Yes, again.
And Hispanic.
I would love to see those studies, man. I got to see this.
Yeah.
This isn't hate but facts. You have a demography that is now identified with almost everything negative: misandry, hoedom, disease, divorces, single motherhood. Yeah.
So that's 100% like
I gotta see this.
It's 100% incorrect due to the fact that we've definitely studied this before, and there's more Caucasian American women who are actually on public assistance or welfare than it is black women.
I've never seen that. I would love to see that.
So,
well, yeah, I mean, I would really hope so because how many percentage is the black population? 11 or 12%. So I really hope there's way more women, white women,
in actuality,
because there's way more white people.
Yeah, and in actuality, when they took back Roe versus Wade, there were more white women who were getting abortions than it was black women, because black women, in all honesty, couldn't afford what an abortion costs.
Yep.
Or they couldn't go across
They
state
could,
lines.
you
at
know,
the point.
go across state lines to get them. So
And the same thing
therefore,
with the
I would
cosmetic
love to
surgeries.
see your
Same
statistical
thing with
facts
the
for that,
cosmetic
sir.
surgery.
I'm gonna have to get. Hey, next time when you come back, I'm gonna make sure to like get the
No,
stats for that.
the
If
same thing with
he
the
has it.
cosmetic
I'm here.
surgeries. It has been
Yeah.
proven that more white women do cosmetic surgery
So they
for
can-
two specific reasons.
Yeah,
One,
to look like black women.
well,
To look
no,
like-
exactly. Well, not even just
Yeah,
black women.
not even that.
Ethnic women.
Women.
Yeah.
But
They want to get the bigger butts.
they also can afford it.
Yeah, they can
There's
afford
a
it.
lot of like, so the minority women who die from plastic surgery is because they can't afford to go to places like Miami and places within the
Yeah, they
States.
go to fucking
But
Colombia or
fun-
Mexico.
Mhm.
Fun fact, Dr. Miami has so many lawsuits right now, and he was the #1 plastic surgeon in the nation.
Mhm.
And more white women have been coming out saying that he botched their plastic surgeries, and a lot of plastic surgeons who work on white women have killed them because they've
Mhm.
kept them under anesthesia for too long, or they're doing too many procedures back to back.
Back.
They're only allowed to be under anesthesia 6 to 8 hours at a time.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine doing a fucking what's it called? Is that called a voluntary surgery, or what's it called whenever you go do a surgery?
Well,
That's like
it's cosmetic surgery.
yeah. I can't imagine going and doing a cosmetic surgery and dying from it. Like, what the fuck is wrong
Well,
with the
you
world?
can
Yeah.
die from
Actually
any.
just
You,
happened
about to say
to
you can die for a
somebody.
minute.
Yeah. I know. Well, I've been hearing about it a lot lately.
Mhm.
So it's like, Jesus, I just can't believe how many women are doing this shit. $2 from Morel for All. I actually agreed with you a few times. What?
Latina. Who's that?
Latina?
What does that even mean?
Black Latina.
Oh,
is he
okay.
talking about me?
Yeah.
What was the
Like-
next one? $5 from Tony Escar. What I tell you, Sergio, for the last 10 minutes, these ladies played the blame game when becoming face to face with the unwanted statement. Yeah, here, hold on. Click Jose's really quick. That shit's funny as
Oh,
fuck.
Tony.
He said, "Girl next Sergio called her parents, pick her up."
Jose, you need to get a life. You need to find
That
something better to do
shit's
with your
so
time.
No, dude, Tony, thank you so much for all the super chats tonight, bro. Morel, I appreciate you too. Julian, thank you. Everybody that super chatted tonight, I really appreciate all of y'all, man. Y'all super chats keep this show alive. We're fucking going big these next few weeks or months, guys. We're about to take it to the next level. We're gonna be trying to do a lot of upgrades and a lot of big shit. So I really appreciate y'all super chats because y'all are making that shit happen. Ladies, let's just do the last question. We never do a show this long. I'm so sorry. Let's just do the last question really quick. We're just gonna fly through it. I always like to ask, what did you think of the show? Would you come back? And was there anything that resonated with you that was like a good fact that I should bring up on more episodes?
I love the show. Definitely. I am not a person who loves to be on camera. My podcast is only audio, so I wholeheartedly understand it. I love it. I get it. Would I come back? Absolutely.
Yes. And did you like any? Was there any one of the stats where you're like, man, that's a really good one? Like, I'm gonna change my mindset because of that one. I saw you a couple of times where you looked at me and you're like, you know what, that was pretty good.
If I say you had a few points, I was just like, all right, I need to go do a little bit more research. But I think outside of factual things, it was more so how we were able to, even when we disagreed, we were able to still be respectful and come back and still engage in the rest of the conversation. And then, go along
because
with
that's
it.
rare today, right?
Mhm.
It's too much of like, you disagree with me, you're fucking stupid and wrong, and you're
then
out of this world.
And then I get up and walk out.
Yeah. And that happens a lot though. Thank you so much for coming back again. What did you think this time? Are you gonna come back again? And what resonated?
Oh yeah, I would love to come back. I love our little banters, but I would say that this show is very, very helpful to push the idea of what it is to have a true debate. Like I said, sometimes I do feel like it can get a little heated on both sides, both yours and ours.
Mhm.
But like she said, even if it gets to that point, I would say like that sometimes can get a little tiring emotionally. But after that, like going back to our actual topics and going over these things and giving each other a chance to speak, because not all of us agree with each other, and you and I sometimes agree. You agreed with her and you agreed with her, so it's really good open dialogue to have that a lot of people aren't able to.
Yeah, iron sharpens iron. Like, you definitely got to have these conversations. What did you think? Did you like the show? Would you come back? And was there anything that resonated?
I definitely like the show. I would come back. Something that resonated with me, we were able to be respectful even though we didn't agree. However, I do feel like you brought us on this platform for a reason, to hear our opinion. So I feel like you have to be more open to listening. You can't tell someone to stop talking. You trying to prove your point. if you ask us a question, you want to hear our opinion,
That's
you
the
do
short
have to
people
listen.
mentality.
Sorry,
agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely agree.
sometimes I can be quite the douche nozzle.
Douche nozzles.
I'm sorry, guys. That's just
You
who
ain't
I
the only
am.
one. Your producer up there.
Yeah. That one?
Yeah, let's go,
he needs
Bassett.
to be taken
But
off
I
of the
do have-
Respect the
the board.
producer.
Yeah, Bassett, they're gonna take you behind the shed, bro. I'm sorry.
But I'll
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
come back.
Definitely
We
gonna
had a
come
good
back.
time.
No, thank y'all so much. I can't wait for y'all to come back, honestly, because like if I can have y'all on a full panel with like a bunch of crazy women, it would make it even more fun. But no,
Say bring me back in August.
and
We'll be here.
and
And let's talk about relationships in relation to a more urban topic.
maybe the topic next time. Well, I'll help you, or I'll let you help me pick the topic next time, so we can have a good, interesting one, maybe. And if y'all ever want to come out to the club on Fridays, ladies, come on Friday's show, and I always have bottles or tables and bottles at the club.
That's
I know you can't. Yeah, nah, she a good one. Y'all see this?
I
This
love
is an
it.
example.
I love her.
She's learning. I'm just kidding. But no, but yeah, I hope
can't
y'all
even
can come
go
on
to
a
the club,
Friday
where
and
the
we
hell
can
you
all go
at?
out and we all go have fun one night. You know, I'm not just an asshole all the time. We can party too, you know.
Definitely.
But yeah, I appreciate chat for coming, guys. Fucking, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the super chats. Bassett, the greatest backup producer ever. I appreciate you, bro. Ladies, beautiful panel. Can't say thank you
I
enough.
can't stand Jose.
Wait, that's
Yeah,
my boyfriend right
Jose
there.
be too fucking funny, man.
Which
He
one?
said Sergio about to
Wait,
have
Quentin,
wait.
no, Quentin
Sergio
Humphrey
about to have a
right
parent
Oh, what's
teacher
up with the red shirt? He talking to you?
there. Yeah, that's
Yo,
my boyfriend right there.
Shout out to her
What's up,
boyfriend.
lady red shirt?
Well, hello, Quentin.
Yes, I do need to go have a parent teacher conference, guys. I will see y'all later. Have a good night. Peace the
Bye,
fuck out.
guys.
Oh, you gotta click end stream, Bassett, over in the top right. He doesn't know how to do it, guys. We're sorry.
Quentin,